Be cool, be kind, be classy. The cupcakes so sweet and sexy. Have fun and enjoy the journey. Just have a good attorney. No big whoop, no biggie. She lives near New York City. Not just a YouTube show. When you know, you better grab a straw. Learn about the law. It's cool here in the shade, sipping motions and lemonade. Cool heads will prevail, kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Oh, Melanie Little is going live. Oh no, where is Melanie? Follow the island's melody. Is a concert within reach. No surprise, she's at Jones Beach. She heard some music far away. Captain Jack's at Harbor Bay. He sings and his piano plays. Not all sounds are waterways. Speaking Yiddish and Latin, it's not just for Manhattan. It's for Goethe and Michegas. Ridiculousness that insanus. Oy vey, Marcus. Proset, that's for schmucks. Be cool, be kind, be classy. My cupcakes are sweet and sassy. And not just a YouTube show. When you know, you know. Cool heads will prevail. Kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Melanie Little is going live.
Hello. Happy Sunday. It's Sunday Night live from New York. It's Sunday night. Hang tight. I just want to thank whoever it was who gave me the heads up on something in the thumbnail, and I'm not sure who it was, but thank you for that, because you know I'm a stickler for my spelling and grammar, so I appreciate that. I didn't pick it up, and I fixed it. So thank you for that. Hi, everyone. Hi. Yeah, my eye is good. It's all good. Everything's good. It's good. It's a nice holiday weekend. I hope everyone had a nice holiday weekend with their families. Before you ask, I'm going to put this to bed one time. No, I did not watch Aiden's streams this weekend. I have been spending time with my family. My kids are home from college, and I've been spending time with my family. And I will not comment on it. I will not talk about it. It is not my business. It is someone else's private business that I am not going to discuss, dissect, or probably won't even have the time to watch. So let's just nip that in the bud, okay? Because that's not what we're talking about anyway. But somebody wrote me an email saying, "Oh, you have to do a members only stream and talk about it." I'm like, no, I don't. I absolutely do not have to. I don't have time to watch anybody else's shows. I am spending time with my family, and just know. There's something else though that we might talk about at the end of the stream, because I just can't help it. So here's what's going on. I've had this thumbnail ready for a couple days. I got a couple days. I don't know. And then things kept coming up. Things kept popping up into the docket. And so we had to cover other things. But this Proctor motion to compel was filed in the O'Keefe versus Reed case. That's the Plymouth case. Okay. So if I go back to my calendar, to Friday, November 21st was the Karen Reed civil hearing in Plymouth. That was on Zoom. We watched part of it because we weren't able to get in, remember, for the whole Zoom. By the time we got in, they had already been discussing some things, and then we watched part of it. And they didn't talk about the motion to add the new parties because it had never been filed with the court, because now we find out through Mr. Waters. And I just, every time I hear Mr. Waters, it reminds me of Alec Murdoch calling Mr. Waters, Mr. Waters. He was the prosecutor in the Murdoch case. Anyway, his name is Charles Waters. He's one of Karen's attorneys from She and Finney. He did an interview with Billy Bush the same day on the 21st, but Billy Bush didn't air it until the 24th. But we found out from that interview, and I'm going to play some portions of it, that once Karen Reed's attorneys got the opposition to the motion to bring in all the third parties, was the non-party opposition, they decided to just withdraw that motion, and that's when they decided to file her case against everybody in Bristol Superior Court. So we did find out that that motion was dismissed. That is why the judge didn't even address it at the conference on the 21st. And that is why, because in Massachusetts, you don't file the motion, you serve the motion, and then you don't file the motion with the court until the opposition is in and the reply is in, and then you file it. So the judge likely did not know anything about it. This interview with Billy Bush and Chaz Waters, Alan Jackson was also, I just feel weird calling him Chaz because he's not my friend. That's what Alan Jackson calls him. Alan Jackson did some of this interview as well. I'm going to play just a little parts of it, and then I'm going to link the whole thing below for you so that you can go watch Billy Bush. And like I told you about Billy, did you guys go back and watch Billy Bush's live stream with Charlie Sheen that I asked the question on? He's cut it down into a shorter piece, like an 8-minute thing. But I mean, I couldn't believe there's only 300 people watching Charlie Sheen live. And like, who wouldn't want to ask, am I the only person who wanted to ask Charlie Sheen a question? I was the only person who super chatted during that entire hour-plus stream. I couldn't believe it. Guess I was the only one who wanted to talk to Charlie Sheen. But Charlie, come on my show. Come on my show. He said he can't get, he's like low on roles. He can't get a job. Come on my show. Let's promote your book. Let's promote your book. Your documentary was amazing. I've been telling everybody for months how amazing that documentary was, haven't I? Did you guys go watch the documentary? Because I told you how great it was. Charlie Sheen's documentary. Love it. 2.5 Men. And really, I'm not trying to kiss Charlie's ass right now because I know he's not going to call me. But 2.5 Men is one of the few laugh out loud shows, I think, that I really ever watched. You know, Seinfeld is great. It was laugh out loud. But 2.5 Men, the writing on 2.5 Men was really laugh out loud. And big fan. Big fan. Okay, so let's take a look first at Billy's interview with Chaz Waters. A couple parts of it, because we're going to learn some stuff, and we're going to learn what happened. We're going to learn what they intend to do anyway. Some of the things that they intend to do in the Karen Read civil case, and how Karen Read got to their firm, how she found them, and what he intends to do with Proctor before we look at the papers that they filed on Proctor. Okay. And those papers were not filed until the 25th. So much stuff was going on this week that we didn't get a chance to watch it or talk about it. But I've been waiting to talk about these papers for a long time. Yes. Charlie's been sober for like 8 years. I know. I'm so happy for him. So happy for him. And that was my question, was about sobriety. And it was about, I said, Charlie, if you wanted to give advice to someone who was sober, curious, like Billy, what would you tell them? And how has your life improved since becoming sober? And then I just put in there, like XOXO, love you, Billy, or something, because I didn't want Billy to feel like he was on the spot. But I watch Billy all the time. Billy talks a lot about drinking. And I'm like, maybe Billy, maybe you could talk to Billy about how your life is better after you quit drinking and doing drugs. I don't know. Seems like Billy's sober curious, right? Crazy. I don't know anything about Charlie essaying anybody, Missy Minx, and that's your first and final warning. That's your final warning. Okay, I guess I have to give a warning. Defaming anyone in my chat is going to get you blocked or timed out, maybe timed out if Ahmad is feeling generous. But I have no tolerance for people defaming other people in my chat. I don't. And I'm just not going to allow it. That is just one of the things that I'm going to give a not even a warning, just an instruction. I didn't think I had to, but I apparently I might. So there's that. Also, coming in and promoting other channels, not really a cool thing to do on YouTube, unless like I'm the one promoting other channels. So I'm just saying. Okay, again, Kelly, I'm saying the same thing about rumors about people committing crimes. That's defamation. It's defamation. Don't do it in my chat. Here we go. Again, Derek, third warning. I don't think I have any mods tonight, so now I'm going to have to play policeman, woman. I'm going to have to play policewoman, moderator. And I mean, if you think that my mods are bad, have you met me? All right, here's Charlie with Chaz Waters, Karen's civil attorney, or lead civil attorney, also with the same firm as Seligson. Here you go.
No, but getting to your
just talking about how Billy Bush went to Colby College, and Mr. Waters' wife also went to Colby College, and so they are. She's like, I love Billy Bush because we went to Colby. Okay, here we go. Police person, whatever. We are talking about Proctor. We're talking about Proctor. People were defaming Charlie Sheen in my chat, accusing him of crimes that have not been proven. He's not been convicted of anything. You know who's been acquitted of the murder of John O'Keefe? Karen Reed, okay? Karen Reed has been acquitted of the murder of John O'Keefe. There is still something else happened to him. Something else happened to him. Let's go.
And how did this case come to us? It was after Karen was acquitted of all charges relating to the death of John O'Keefe that Alan and Karen came to she and Finney and me and Damon Seligson and Aaron Rosenberg all sat down with them, and we knew right away that this was a great match. That the folks here at She and Finney have a lot of experience.
I don't know what he's looking at on the ceiling. I don't know what he's looking at on the ceiling, but I wish he would look at the camera. Chaz, call me. We'll get you set up with some good equipment, a microphone. Like, gotta look into the camera.
In these types of cases, although there's no case like this, but in complicated, complex law, complicated facts, that we've got a great team here. Damon Seligson's been doing this for 30 years. He's been a trial lawyer in Boston. He's excellent. Aaron Rosenberg is a younger lawyer, and he's, in baseball terms, he's a 5-tool player. Does everything well. Just researches, writes, argues. He does everything. He's terrific. So the three of us are really well equipped to take on a case like this from a technical perspective and an experience perspective. And then when we got to know Karen and Alan better, and Karen's family, her parents, it was just an easy match. And, I had not met Karen prior to her acquittal. And she's an amazingly warm and smart and funny. She's got a terrific sense of humor. And so I've really enjoyed working with her and meeting her. And I know our team is working flawlessly with Alan's team on the West Coast and with Karen every day.
We are talking to Chaz Waters here. He is the new man running point for Karen Reed on offense this time, as she goes after the people that, I think most in the area instinctively feel are responsible for the death of John O'Keefe. So
hey, Tom Petty fan says he's an old man. He needs a better setup. He's not an old man. His wife graduated college in 91. I don't know what you consider to be old, but he's not an old man. I mean, it's not beyond his comprehension, I don't think. But I once had an acting teacher who taught us that there's nothing interesting on the floor or the ceiling. So if you're ever or auditioning for a scene, looking at the floor or looking at the ceiling they're gonna turn your tape off immediately.
In your suit, you claim that you claim that Karen was killed inside the home of Nicole and Brian Albert. What type of investigation have you conducted on your own to determine that actually is the case, that it was in the home? And I guess that includes garage, if that were the case.
Yeah. The complaint sets it all out, Billy. And the complaint is very detailed. And really, it's John O'Keefe's body that dictates where he was killed. He had lacerations and bruises.
Praise be. John O'Keefe's body tells the story. Isn't that right? Haven't I been screaming that for how long now? That John O'Keefe's body tells the story. That it's the injuries do not line up with a pedestrian versus car motor vehicle accident. They just don't. Because
Hello. Hello, I'm here.
Thank you. Now I feel validated. Thank you.
To his face and his eyes. He had dog bites and scratches on his right arm and forearm. He had a gash in the back of his head from a lead surface, from being assaulted and pushed back.
Oh, sorry. Oh, no, man. YouTube hates these pictures. Hold on. I didn't know those were coming on. Thanks, Billy. If you come back on the replay, and that part's cut out, it's because YouTube hates those pictures. All right, here we go.
And that team researched and put together in the criminal defense cases that ended up being the foundation for the civil case. And that speaks, the evidence speaks. I mean, the experts came in the criminal case, and we expect the same experts, if not different ones, to come in and testify about the same things, that these injuries are.
Okay, I don't know what he just said. He said, I expect the same experts, if not different ones, to come in. So I'm not sure if they already have the experts. The experts have already done the work. ARC has already done the work. Why pay someone else to do the work again? So I was a little confused by that. He said the same experts or other ones are going to come in. Listen.
Came in that speaks, the evidence speaks. I mean, the experts came in the criminal case, and we expect the same experts, if not different ones, to come in and testify about the same things, that these injuries are inconsistent with a car strike, that these injuries are consistent with being assaulted and being attacked by a dog and being pushed back and hit into a ledge ridge.
What's the story with Chloe, the dog? I mean, have you guys now?
Alleged ridge for the 4-inch gash on the back of the head. He talks about Chloe a lot, which I think really is a non-issue. I don't, to me, it doesn't matter if Chloe's found or not. It makes no difference because swabs were never taken of John O'Keefe's arm. Swabs were never taken of the arm to see if there was any dog DNA in there. And if they were taken, they were hidden. If they were taken, they were lost. They were never, ever, ever taken. And no samples were taken from the arm.
That you're on offense, have we located?
Oh, maybe he means the experts that were not allowed. Yeah, maybe like Michael Easter and Garrett Wing. That could be.
Chloe twice removed from Canton?
So I'm glad you mentioned that. And I don't know if Alan's still sitting there, but
yeah,
one of the things that has been, I'm sure, very frustrating to Alan and David in the criminal defense case is that they had an inability to take depositions. There was no depositions as a matter of right. They couldn't subpoena as a matter of right. In other words, they
bang, 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 bang.
Couldn't call people in to sit down at a desk and ask them questions under oath and get their answers, not in front of a jury, but get their answers and then follow up and then pursue lines of questioning and pursue theories. David and Alan were stuck with whatever the prosecution gave them and whatever the state investigation, the state police investigators gave them. And so they were quite hamstrung, and they did obviously a masterful job in defense, but they were hamstrung in defending Karen because they didn't have all these tools, right, which is absurd.
Could Judge Beverly Cannoni have herself, executive order just like said, of course you can, and change the rules, or did she, right, or did she just keep it that way to keep them hamstrung?
Well, I think Alan can talk more specifically about Judge Cannoni's rulings. From an outsider looking into that criminal case, I know that they tried to pursue statements from these witnesses, evidence from these witnesses, getting subpoenas out. And I know they tried in every effort they could possibly think of to try to get more information. And in most ways, I understand it was unsuccessful. Now, why I bring that up now, Billy? Because we have the opportunity to do that. We're going to sit down with Michael Proctor. We're going to ask him some questions under oath. We're going to sit down with Trooper BUKHEKIK and TULLY and Jen McCabe and Matt McCabe and Brian Higgins. And we're going to be able to have them in an office at the other side of a table, asking them questions under oath and being able to follow up and having subpoenas and getting documents. And so this.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And that's exactly what they did on November 25th of 2025. So this interview was the same day as the conference, which was the 21st of November. And here we go. Let's look at the papers. I think there's some people in the chat that just are finding themselves in the wrong place tonight. I don't know where you came from, but I mean, I do admire your tenacity for subscribing to my channel and waiting at least 48 hours to come in and start trolling Well done to you. Your patience is admirable. Here it is. This is in the Plymouth case. So this is in the O'Keefe versus Reed, Waterfall, and McCarthy's case. This was filed November 25th, which would have been the day after Billy Bush's interview aired, which would have been last Tuesday. And this is filed by Karen Reed's team. It's a memorandum of law in support of a motion to compel Michael Proctor to produce documents pursuant to subpoenas. Their patience is pathological, says, oh, sweetie, no, you know it. A couple new members. Welcome to Deborah. Deborah, welcome to Savage Princess. Welcome, Samantha Joe. Thank you. On top for your super sticker. The Goodman's gifted a membership. Thank you, guys. Love you. And Ms. Holmes says that, Melanie, I'm proud to say November 29th is my 8-year sober anniversary, and my black toy poodle 7 years birthday is November 29th, born exactly 1 year later. Meant to be. Congratulations, one day at a time. Keep going. You're rocking it, girl. Thanks for your 5. And just a reminder that the merch shop sale ends today. The link is pinned in the chat. But Barbara has the right idea. She says, I just ordered myself a mug, a hoodie, and some stickers from the merch shop, and I can't wait to see my husband's face Christmas morning when I open them and thank him. Wrap them up for yourself and put your husband's name on it or your wife's name on it if you want something like a beanie or anything else. All right, here we go. Defending Karen Reed respectfully requests that the court compel former Massachusetts State Police Trooper Michael Proctor to produce documents due as long as 3 months ago. Yes, yes, yes. They've been serving subpoenas. They've served 2 subpoenas on Michael Proctor. One of them, we're going to see what the dates were, what the exact dates were. But one of them, well, it says right here, Reed served the first subpoena on Proctor in hand on July of 2025, meaning the process server went to his house and found him personally and handed him the subpoena and then, filed an affidavit of service that it was actually Proctor that he served it on. And then Karen Reed's team served a second subpoena seeking a discrete set of documents, additional documents in October of 2025. Proctor acknowledged receiving both subpoenas and requested repeated extensions to respond. However, to date, Proctor has failed to meet all new agreed to deadlines and has not substantively responded to either subpoena or produced any documents. The court should compel him to do so. Facts. Plaintiffs allege, and these are so this is the defendant making the motion, right? The defendant, Karen Reed. And so when they're referring to the plaintiffs, they're talking about the O'Keefes. And I know this gets confusing, so I have to remind you who the parties are each stream because I too get confused because there's so many lawsuits flying around all of a sudden. Plaintiffs allege that Reed backed her car into John O'Keefe III on January 29th of 2022 and caused his death. They also allege that Reed created a false narrative, in quotes, that someone else killed Mr. O'Keefe and that the police investigation into his death was corrupt, biased, and designed to deflect attention away from the law enforcement officers and their families who were inside the house at 34 Fairview Road in Canton the night Mr. O'Keefe died. And then they cite all of the paragraphs of the O'Keefe's complaint referring to those allegations. Plaintiffs claim Reed's assertion of this alleged false narrative supports their, quote, negligent/reckless infliction of emotional distress claims against Reed. In an effort to defend against plaintiffs' claims by, in part, proving that this narrative is actually true, on July 23rd of 2025, Reed served the first subpoena on Proctor by hand. Proctor led the investigation into Mr. O'Keefe's death, which led to Reed's arrest and prosecution. He is central to the narrative on which plaintiffs rely. The first subpoena requires Proctor to appear for a deposition, just like Chaz Waters just told us, and seeks various categories of documents, including all documents and communications concerning Reed, Mr. O'Keefe, the investigation into Mr. O'Keefe's death, other potential witnesses and suspects, and other relevant topics. Footnote 1. A true and accurate copy of the first subpoena, including the return of service, is attached as Exhibit 1. The first subpoena required Proctor to produce these documents by August 5th of 2025. On July 28th, attorney Daniel Moynihan, Proctor's counsel in his administrative appeal of his termination from the MSP, contacted Reed's counsel, stated that he was confirming that his office would represent Proctor in connection with this case, and asked Reed's counsel to continue the deposition and wait a week before settling on a new date for the production of documents. So continue is just another word for adjourn. So they wanted to adjourn it to a new date. Reed's counsel agreed, because that's what attorneys do, who are courteous to each other. But Attorney Moynihan did not follow up and did not respond to further emails from Reed's counsel on August 27th or September 11th. So they even waited a full month to contact him again, Moynihan. On September 15th, Reed's counsel sent a letter to Attorney Moynihan's office demanding a response. The next day, another attorney from Attorney Moynihan's office, Mark Russell, responded to Reed's counsel. Attorney Russell indicated that his firm had not been retained to represent Proctor in connection with this case and did not propose any new deadline for Proctor's response to the subpoena. Reed's counsel followed up multiple times to clarify if Attorney Moynihan's and Russell's firm was authorized to speak on Proctor's behalf in connection with the subpoena. Ultimately, Attorney Moynihan stated the firm was not, and claimed that he was only trying to facilitate a response. Okay, so ultimately Daniel Moynihan, remember, he was the union attorney who was representing Proctor in his bid to try and get his job back. And as soon as Proctor's total phone extraction was released in the Walsh case by Judge Krupp, whatever was in that total phone extraction going back 12 years was so explosive that the very next day, which was a Saturday, Michael Proctor signed off on withdrawing his appeal to the post commission. I think it was the post commission that was doing those hearings. They already had something like at least 2 days of hearings. And then right after that was when Moynihan completely dropped him, and the union released a statement that hopefully this embarrassing chapter of the Massachusetts State Police was finally coming to an end, and they were no longer standing behind former dishonorably discharged, disgraced trooper Michael Proctor. And I said, and Emily C thinks it's funny, the Michael Proctor is such an overachiever because it is so hard to get fired from the Massachusetts State Police. He accomplished that. Not only did he accomplish that, do you know how hard it is to have a police union pull support from a member? I think the police union is only second to the teachers union in power in this country. And so to have the police union dump him and get fired from an MSP job, this guy is an overachiever. I mean, he's beyond. His mother must be so proud. Reed's counsel explained that he needed to confer with counsel who actually represents Proctor in connection with the first subpoena to see if the parties could agree to a new production deadline and avoid motion practice. No new counsel appeared, and Proctor did not produce any documents or written response to the first subpoena. On October 22nd, 2025, Reed served Proctor with the second subpoena, which is attached as Exhibit 2, which relates only to documents containing certain disclosures made to Attorney Moynihan the previous week by the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, and Proctor's decision to abruptly withdraw his administrative appeal as a result of these revelations. The second subpoena was left at Proctor's last and usual address. So the first subpoena was for a deposition and documents. The second subpoena came after the total phone extraction was released by Judge Krupp and given to Moynihan. And the second subpoena wants, in addition to other things, that total phone extraction. And they're entitled to it. And this is the difference, my friends, between civil court and criminal court. Civil court, you get depositions. You don't need to ask permission. You can serve a subpoena on anybody you want to depose. And remember, Proctor's not a party to this action. You can also serve a subpoena on them for documents. And they've got a couple of options. They can move to quash the subpoena. They can comply with the subpoena. Or they can just default and be held in contempt of court. And here's what Proctor decided to do. After receiving the second subpoena, Proctor called Reed's counsel directly on October 24th and left a message. They spoke on October 27th. So now Proctor's been making his own phone calls. During that call, Proctor confirmed that he was not presently represented by counsel and explained that he needed more time to produce documents because he was in the process of finding counsel. Reed's counsel explained that it had been months since Proctor had received the subpoena and that Reed would move to compel production if Proctor did not agree to an acceptable date by which he would produce documents. Proctor asked Reed's counsel not to serve such a motion that week to allow Proctor to engage counsel. And Reed's counsel agreed. They actually said, okay, Proctor, we'll give you time to find a lawyer. They were nice to him. And they didn't have to be. Reed's counsel agreed, and Proctor said his new counsel would reach out by October 31st, Halloween. Fitting. No new counsel appeared for Proctor by that date. Indeed, as of the date of this motion, no counsel has appeared for Proctor. Instead, Proctor called Reed's counsel again on Halloween, October 31st, and said that Reed's motion to add parties, which had been served in the interim, had caused the attorney he planned to hire to refuse the engagement. Wah, wah. Debbie Downer. Wah, wah. Proctor asked for even more time. Reed's counsel explained that he could not agree to further delays where the documents in question had been due 3 months earlier. Proctor has not objected to either of the subpoenas. Analysis. And here we go. Here's the analysis. Noni's treasure house says, why be nice to him? He sure wasn't to Karen. Well, because that's what big boy and girl attorneys do. They grant courtesies to defendants who are trying to find lawyers, and they grant courtesies to other lawyers and give them extensions of time to answer, because you're going to have to deal with these attorneys unless they get fired and somebody else gets hired for the pendency of the case. And quite frankly, it's a small pond over there in Norfolk County. And these defense attorneys and plaintiffs' attorneys probably have had other cases together in the decades in which they've been practicing. And people have professional relationships. And that's just what people does. That's just what people do. That's just what you do. You meet the same attorneys over and over again on other cases. And if you don't have a good working relationship, it's not good for your firm. So that's it. Right. And that's the classy thing to do. It's all. It's all. It's what lawyers do. They grant courtesies, usually. Analysis. The court should compel Proctor to produce all documents and information in his possession, custody, or control that are responsive to the subpoenas. The subpoenas seek potential evidence that would be highly relevant to the truth of the alleged false narrative plaintiffs rely on for their emotional distress claims. Proctor led the investigation into Mr. O'Keefe's death for the Massachusetts State Police and was a primary focus of the allegations and statements Reed made, which plaintiffs claim caused them harm. Okay. Do you see what's happening here? The O'Keefes are claiming that Karen started a false narrative. And her false narrative in saying that she wasn't the one to kill John O'Keefe, even though the jury acquitted her of that. Her false narrative, she has to prove that her false narrative wasn't false. And so one way for her to prove that it wasn't false is to get all of Proctor's phone extraction and all of his communications with everyone. And unlike criminal court, you don't have to make a Rule 17 motion in civil court. See? Remember all the Rule 17 motions that happened before Karen Reed's first trial, before Karen Reed's second trial, to get the phone records of the McCabes and the Alberts? Remember? And I think at one point they even made did they even try to get Elizabeth Proctor's phone records at one point too? You don't have to do that in civil court. You can just subpoena records. And if the person who's a third party doesn't like it, they can make a motion to quash. Maybe the judge will grant it, maybe they won't. But the discovery rules in civil court are pretty broad, as we're seeing right now. Specifically, Reed has alleged that Proctor deliberately ignored, manipulated, and falsified evidence to direct the investigation away from other potential suspects and towards Reed. It is vital to her defense that she be permitted to, among other things, prove that such allegations were true when she made them, and Proctor's documents are directly relevant to that point. Therefore, they are well within the scope of discovery. Although Reed cooperated with many of Proctor's requests for extensions to avoid the need for motion practice, it has been 3 months since the vast majority of the documents were due, and Proctor has not committed to any deadline for production and is not, to Reed's knowledge, currently represented by counsel with whom Reed's counsel can confer. Therefore, the court should order Proctor to comply with his obligations and produce documents. Conclusion: for the foregoing reasons, Reed respectfully requests that the court allow the motion and compel Proctor to produce all documents and information responsive to the subpoenas within 10 days of the court's order. Dun, dun, dun. Oops. If there's people that are just coming in now and did not see my opening monologue, I'm not here to talk about Turtle Boy and Meredith's personal drama. I have spent time with my children who are home from college and other of my children who are not home from college. And I have not had time to watch any of it, and I am not going to comment on it. And that is not the purpose of this stream tonight. So if you could just, I don't know, avoid pressing send on any of those chat messages trying to get my attention to talk about it, because it's not going to work. Okay? Again, and if you defame other creators or anyone, including Charlie Sheen in the chat, I mean, maybe I should just shut. Should I just shut the chat off? Should I do that? Hold on. We're going to pull out the affirmation for a badass. The card from the other day was so good, so we have to pull a card for I'm going to shuffle the deck right here. I'm shuffling the deck. Shuffling the deck. This is affirmation for a badass today. We're going to do this every stream. Here it is. It says right here, find a way, not an excuse. Find a way, not an excuse. Same on both sides. The one from the other day was so good. It was this. It says, I don't know if you can read this. Whoever is trying to bring me down is already below me. There it is. There it is. Affirmations for badass. Then I'm going to put the used ones over there. We're going to pull one every day. There it is. My chat, my choice. I got to make the t-shirts. My chat's my choice. My chat, my choice. All right, moving on. Let's take a look at the actual subpoenas and what they were looking for. Sorry, I forgot the XOXO. Damon Seligson, Charles Waters, Aaron Rosenberg, Sheehan, Finney, and Bass, and Alan Jackson, Caleb Mason, Elizabeth Little, Prohawk Viche. This was dated November 7th. So what is this, but it wasn't filed until the 25th, the motion to compel. Exhibit 1, this is the first subpoena served on Michael Proctor. And I have redacted his address so that nobody goes to his house. And this is what the subpoena says. Greetings, you are here to Michael Proctor, Canton, Mass. 02121. Greetings, you are hereby commanded in the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, pursuant to the provisions of Rule 45 of the Massachusetts Rules of Civil Procedure, to produce the documents identified in the attached Schedule A at the offices of Sheehan, Finney, Bass, and Green on or before August 5th at 10 a.m. Footnote 1. It says to arrange electronic production of the requested documents, please contact attorney Aaron Rosenberg at this number that I have redacted. You are further commanded to appear at the offices of Sheehan Finney on August 28th, 2025 at 10 a.m. to testify as to your knowledge at the taking of a deposition in the above entitled action before a notary public in and for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts or before some other officer authorized by law to administer oaths. The deposition will continue day to day as necessary and will be recorded stenographically and by audio visual means. Well, they want to videotape his deposition, and right on. It's expensive, but go for it. And then it says, hereof fail not, as failure by any person without adequate excuse to obey a subpoena served upon him may be deemed a contempt of the court in which the action is pending. XOXO, Damon Seligson, Karen Reed by her attorneys, and all the same attorneys. And then it was notarized and served on all attorneys on July 22nd of 2025. So that's how long ago they served this subpoena on the other attorneys. Schedule A. Somebody said, I'm confused. How can he do all that in August if this is November? Well, this is a motion to compel him to do the things that they subpoenaed in August and October that he hasn't done yet. So these are just the exhibits. And this case has not been removed to federal court. This case has not. Let's not get confused, okay? This case, I'm going to go back to the caption again. This is the Bristol case. I'm sorry. This is the Plymouth case. Paul O'Keefe, as personal representative of the estate of John O'Keefe III, Paul O'Keefe individually, John O'Keefe II, Margaret O'Keefe, and Margaret O'Keefe as grandparent guardian of Kaylee Furbush against C.F. McCarthy's The Waterfall and Karen Reed. This is the Plymouth County case. This has not been removed to federal court. This is still in state court. Okay, let's not get confused. The case that's been removed to federal court is the case that Karen Reed filed against everyone in Bristol County. The 5 House defendants, with one attorney, filed a notice of removal to federal court. Whether or not it's going to stay there is going to be up to a federal court judge, okay? Because Karen Reed has already said she intends to bring in the Massachusetts State Police and the town of Canton. A federal court may not have jurisdiction over those two entities. So just because they filed a notice of removal to federal court doesn't mean it's absolutely 100% going to stay there, okay? This case is still in state court. I know it's confusing, but let's try and I'll help you try and keep the facts straight because we're all about facts. We're about facts here. That's the civil rights case is the one that was removed. This is the simple hit and run car accident case, if you want to call it that. It's the wrongful death case against Karen Reed for allegedly causing the death with her car of John O'Keefe. And this remains in state court at this time. And here is the list of documents and the definitions as the words appear in the list of documents. And there's also a set of instructions. And then the documents that they're requesting. So I'll read through this once because I think both subpoenas have the same instructions. One. Oh, wait, no, we got to go back to, definitions first. Unless specifically indicated or otherwise required by the context in which the terms, names, and instructions are used. 1. Document or documents means all written, printed, typed, or other graphic matter, all printouts and runoffs, now or at any time in your possession, custody, or control, or known to you, whether or not prepared by you. Document or documents includes, but is not limited to, all correspondence, agreements, memoranda, reports, notes, drafts of documents, internal communications, interoffice communications, telegrams, letters, directives, bulletins, accounts, vouchers, invoices, bills, ledgers, financial statements, analyses, estimates, maps, charts, graphs, drawings, worksheets, minutes, and summaries of meetings, conversations, or communications of any type, including telephone conversations and telephone messages, text messages, electronically stored information, electronic mail, instant messages, and information stored on CD-ROM and or tape. Document or documents also include all copies and drafts which are not identical to the original. 2. A recording means any original or copies, either full or partial, of any responsive audio or video recording, including all metadata associated with such recordings. They want the metadata. Recording also includes any derivative works or derivative video or audio compilations. The term concerning means referring to, relating to, describing, evidencing, or constituting. The term communication means the transmittal of information in the form of facts, ideas, inquiries, or otherwise, in whatever form, written or verbal or otherwise. Representative or representatives used with reference to a person or entity means A, any past or present officer, director, partner, associate, employee, servant, agent, subsidiary, affiliate, legal counsel, or any agent of such persons, and B, any other persons acting on behalf of or in concert with such persons, including, without limitation, insurance brokers or agents, auditors, actuaries, and consultants of any type. 6, relates to, related to, or relating to means to refer to, reflect, concern, pertain to, or in any manner be connected with the matter discussed. I don't think they left anything out, but if they did, I'm sure you guys will point it out. Instructions. 1, documents withheld. If any document is withheld under a claim of privilege or other protection, so as to aid the court and the parties hereto to determine the validity of the claim or of privilege or other protection, please provide the following information with respect to any such documents. A, the identity of the person who prepared the document, who signed it, and over whose name it was sent or issued. B, the identity of the persons to whom the document was directed. C, the nature and substance of the document with sufficient particularity to enable the court and parties to identify the document. And so this is only for things that he's claiming privilege. D, the date of the document. E, the identity of the person who has custody of or control over the document and each copy thereof. F, the identity of each person to whom copies of the document were furnished. G, the number of pages. H, the basis on which any privilege or other protection is claimed, and whether any non-privileged or non-protected matter is included in the document. 2, partial production. If you object to a particular request or portion thereof, you must produce all documents called for which are not subject to that objection. Similarly, wherever a document is not produced in full, please state with particularity the reason or reasons it is not being produced in full, and describe to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief, and with as much particularity as possible, those portions of the document which are not produced. 3, orderly response. Wherever it is reasonably practicable, please provide documents in such manner as will facilitate their identification with the particular request or category of requests to which they are responsive. 4, construction of and or. As used herein, the words and or shall be construed both conjunctively and disjunctively, and each shall include the other, wherever such dual construction will serve to bring within the scope of these requests and any documents which would otherwise not be brought within its scope. Construction of the singular and plural forms. As used herein, the singular form shall include the plural and vice versa. Whenever such dual construction will serve to bring within the scope of these requests any documents which would otherwise not be brought within its scope. 6, format for production. For all documents currently stored in electronic format, produce those documents in their electronic native form with all metadata intact. For example, emails should be produced in .pst format, and audio and video recordings should be produced in their native forms with all metadata intact. If you intend to produce documents in a format other than that specified in these instructions, please notify plaintiff's counsel before making the production. 7, supplementation required. To the extent you obtain possession, custody, or control of a document that is responsive to these requests after you make your production in response to these requests, you must supplement that initial production with the newly acquired document. And here is what they're asking for under document requests. Number 1, all documents, video or audio recordings and communications, including but not limited to emails, text messages, and other forms of instant messages to, from, or concerning Karen Reed or any of her family members, heirs, assigns, employees, contractors, agents, attorneys, or other representatives. Okay. So anything, all documents, video, audio recordings, communications, emails, text messages, any form of instant messages to, from, or concerning Karen Read or any of her family members. Pretty broad, right? And he's got custody and control of that because we know he's got his total phone extraction going back to 2012. Number 2, all documents, video or audio recordings and communications, including but not limited to emails, text messages, and other forms of instant messages concerning the 2021 black Lexus LX570 SUV leased by Karen Read as of January 28th of 2022. Right. Anything he has regarding the vehicle or anybody he spoke to about the vehicle or the taillight or anything having to do with the taillight or any parts of Karen's car or going to seize Karen's car, anything having to do with her car, they want it. 3, all documents, video or audio recordings and communications, including but not limited to emails, text messages, and other forms of instant messages concerning or referring to the death of John J. O'Keefe III on or about January 29th of 2022. 4, all documents, video or audio recordings or communications, including but not limited to emails, text messages, and other forms of instant messages to, from, or concerning John O'Keefe II, that's John O'Keefe's dad, Paul O'Keefe, or Margaret O'Keefe from January 1st of 2021 to the present. So that's going back a little more than a year before John O'Keefe's murder. Any communications that he had to, from, or concerning any of those people. 5, all documents, video or audio recordings and communications, including but not limited to emails, text messages, and other forms of instant messages to, from, or concerning the following people: Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Chris Albert, Julie Albert, Colin Albert, Brian Higgins, Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, Allison McCabe, Carrie Roberts, or any other individual present at 34 Fairview Road, Canton, Mass, on January 28th or January 29th, 2022, or any interviews, meetings, conversations, or encounters with any such individuals from January 1, 2021 to the present. That is going back 1 year prior to the murder of John O'Keefe. They want it all. And you know what? They're entitled to it. They're entitled to it because the O'Keefe's theory is that Karen Read made up a false narrative. Well, one of the ways to disprove it is to have everything that they're asking for. 6, provide for forensic examination and copying all cellular or smartphones, computers, tablets, smartwatches, GPS devices, motor vehicle navigation systems, or other electronic devices that record their location or can facilitate communication of any kind, which you used either personally or professionally at any time from January 1st of 2021 through the present. They want all of his devices. 7, all documents, video or audio recordings and communications, including but not limited to emails, text messages, and other forms of instant messages to, from, or concerning any member of the Canton Police Department from January 28th, 2022 through the present. Like Kevin Albert. Dude, where's my gun? Dude, where's my gun? 8, all documents, video or audio recordings and communication, including but not limited to emails, text messages, and other forms of instant messages to, from, or concerning any member of the Boston Police Department from January 28th, 2022 through the present. Number 9, all documents, video or audio recordings and communications, including but not limited to emails, text messages, and other forms of instant messages concerning 34 Fairview Road, Canton, Mass. 02121. Anytime he was ever talking about 34 Fairview Road. All documents, video or audio recordings and communications, including but not limited to emails, text messages, and other forms of instant messages concerning any dog owned, kept, or fostered by any member of the Albert family at 34 Fairview Road, Canton, Mass, from January 1, 2021 to the present. Any dog. Number 11, all documents, video or audio recordings and communications, including but not limited to emails, text messages, and other form of instant messages concerning any investigation by any federal agency, department, board, administration, office, or agent relating in any way to the death of John O'Keefe from January 28th, 2022 to the present. Anytime he ever talked about the FBI investigation to anyone, any conversations he may have had with any FBI agents, anything that's in his possession, he may very well have been given a copy of his grand jury testimony. His federal grand jury testimony, maybe Lally gave it to him. Maybe he's got, I'm sure that he's got his own internal affairs investigative reports, minutes. I'm sure he's got all that stuff somewhere, right? Turn it over. 12, any document, video, or audio recordings or communications, including but not limited to emails, text messages. So that would also include like any video of his post-commission hearings, right? Any documents, video, or audio recordings or communications, including but not limited to emails, text messages, and other forms of instant messages concerning any gifts or items received from any member of the Albert, McCabe, Roberts, or Higgins families from January 28th of 2022 to the present, including but not limited to copies, photographs, or other representations of any such gifts. Did Elizabeth Proctor ever get a gift from Julie Albert? Did Julie ever give a gift to Courtney to give to Elizabeth? Anybody else ever get a gift? Why would it be called a thank you gift? So many questions. Number 13, all documents, video or audio recordings and communications, including but not limited to emails, text messages, and other forms of instant messages to, from, or concerning Yuri BUKHEKIK from January 28th, 2022 to the present. Everything. Anytime you talked about him, talked to him, any group messages that he was a part of, any video or audio recording, all of it regarding Yuri. Hand it over. All documents, video or audio recordings and communications concerning any disciplinary investigation, proceeding, decision, action, or appeal concerning your conduct, Proctor, as a trooper or other rank within the Massachusetts State Police from January 1, 2021 through the present. All records of any iCloud or other backup data that includes any documents, communications, messages, or other data, including metadata that were sent, received, created, edited, copied, altered, or accessed between January 28th, 2022 and the present. Oh, he's going to be telling us everything. I don't know why there's some blank pages in here. I don't know if anything was redacted or if it's intentionally blank. I'm not quite sure. And this is the affidavit of service. So anytime you have a process server serve a person with a subpoena, such as this, they have to file with the court an affidavit of service swearing. And this guy, Brent Bellamy, swears and states as follows. I am a private investigator at, AIRDE Group, a full service private investigation company. Here's our private investigator license number. I've been a private investigator for over 10 years. I'm not a party herein, and I'm a competent adult over 18 that we were retained by. I was retained by, or my PI firm was retained by Sheehan, Finney, and Bass to obtain service of the subpoena upon Michael Proctor. And my company received the subpoena on July 22nd, 2025. On July 23rd of 2025, I served a true copy of the subpoena in hand to Michael Proctor. That means he gave it to him personally at his last and usual address, which I have redacted, Canton, Mass. At approximately 6:53 a.m. Oh, nothing like getting up early to a subpoena. Hold on. I just want to say what day of the week that was. Let's see. July 23rd, 2025. It was a Wednesday. It was a Wednesday. Great way to wake up at 6:53 a.m. Knock, knock, knock. Yes. Are you Michael Proctor? Here you go. You've been served. Mr. Proctor confirmed his identity upon receiving the subpoena. Is there a GoFundMe for Proctor? I don't know. Cat Randall, hi. I love your sunset pictures that you send me. I don't, are they going to include Proctor in the GoFundMe? The House defendants, or is that just for them? Are they going to share? I don't know. But you know, it did happen. Yuri Buchanek shared the House defendants GoFundMe. It's been reported on his personal Twitter and Facebook pages, I think. And then as soon as somebody called him out on it, he deleted everything and went private. That is so improper. I can't even believe it's true. But apparently it's been confirmed that those were Yuri Buchanek's private, his personal Twitter and his personal Facebook page. He shared the House defendants GoFundMe. Because you know what? You can't make it up. You can't make it up. Is that, I don't know, just a little tiny bit of bias? Larry Tipton, I know that the Brian Walsh trial is starting tomorrow and you're probably really busy. But I know that you're going to call Yuri Buchanek to testify against Brian Walsh, or you know, the Commonwealth is. Greg Conner might. Well, they have to, because they've already said they're not going to call Proctor, but you are. And so maybe, I don't know, you could bring up or cross-examine him with the fact that he shared the House defendants GoFundMe in the Karen Read case, because that's how biased he is against defendants who've been acquitted. Imagine how he treated your client, Brian Walsh. I don't know. I'm just saying. Oh, it's a give, send, go, not a GoFundMe. Sorry. My mistake. Yeah, I don't think GoFundMe will I don't think GoFundMe, I don't think you can like raise money for legal fees on GoFundMe, especially if you're a murderer. So I think it has to be through give, send, go. And also, it was set up by the Scrivener. The Scrivener, Denise Galvin, that is the sister of Jennifer McCabe. She's the one who set the whole thing up. She set it up. She's the Scrivener. She wrote that timeline. I still want to see the timeline. Somebody needs to subpoena her for a copy of the timeline. I'm here to help. Remember, she drafted the timeline for Jen McCabe and Carrie Roberts. She was the Scrivener. Okay. So knock, 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 6:53 a.m. Are you Michael Proctor? You've been served. Mr. Proctor confirmed his identity upon receiving the subpoena. I was able to identify Michael Proctor as he matched photographs obtained via online media sources. Well, there's pictures everywhere. Mr. Proctor was also entering a vehicle registered to Michael D. Proctor at his last and usual address per in-house database research. Mr. Proctor took the subpoena in hand after briefly reviewing it. I confirm that the above statements are true to the best of my knowledge. Signed under the pains and penalties of perjury, 23rd day of July, 2025, XOXO, Brent Bellamy, investigator. And it's even notarized. It's even notarized. And here is Exhibit 2. That one was served in July, and this one was served in October. And this is the subpoena in the same case in Plymouth County, in the O'Keefe versus Karen Read. To Michael Proctor, Canton, Mass. Subpoena. Greetings. You are hereby commanded in the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, pursuant to the provisions of Rule 45 of the Massachusetts Rules of Civil Procedure, to produce the documents identified in the attached Schedule A at the offices of Sheehan, Finney, Bass & Green on State Street in Boston on or before October 27th at 10 a.m. But Note 1 says, to arrange electronic production of the requested documents, please contact Attorney Aaron Rosenberg at a redacted number. Hereof fail not, as failure by any person without adequate excuse to obey a subpoena served upon him may be deemed a contempt of the court in which the action is pending. You know, Massachusetts in a lot of ways, it's like the upside down, inside out Narnia, we know. But also a lot of their language has not really developed or progressed since, like, seriously, Pilgrim's time. Oh, hang on one second. Okay. I mean, my kids know not to disturb me when I'm live, but when it's important, it's important. And the question was, I know you're live, but do you want a dirty Dr. Pepper? Does anybody know what a dirty Dr. Pepper is? And I said, yes, diet. All right, you're the best. Love you. Love you. In a lot of ways, Massachusetts is still back in like the 1600s. Like, this is the way they spoke during the Salem witch trials, and they've not really progressed much. Hereof fail not, as failure by any person without adequate. And this is the way they still use that verbiage. It's like wild to me. Yes, he gives beauty for ashes knows about a dirty Dr. Pepper. Nope. There's only one place you can get it. And I don't know exactly what's in it. There's no booze in it. Nope. It absolutely, needs some Z's nose. You can only get it at Sonic. Yep. It's Diet Dr. Pepper with coconut cream and lime, I think, right? It's good. I know it sounds disgusting, but it's good. I know, they're so thoughtful and sweet, aren't they? I love it. So that was and then XOXO, same players. And here's what they're looking for this time. We don't need to read those definitions again, because if you want to, you can just rewind. You can just rewind and go. Do not disparage the dirty Dr. Pepper. It's good. Unless you've tried it, you really can't opine. Instructions, same instructions. And here's what they want this time in the October subpoena. Thank you. Good citizen Weymouth is telling us how exactly to make the dirty Dr. Pepper. Hold on. I'm going to put it up because, listen, first of all, I'm here to help. I mean, as you know, I say that like multiple times every stream. I'm here to help. And also, you need to know. Fill a glass with ice, add the coconut syrup and lime juice, and then pour in the Dr. Pepper. Stir gently and garnish with a lime wedge or a cherry. You'll thank me later. It sounds gross. And I thought it was gross too. But I like mine with Diet Dr. Pepper. All right, here we go. Just try it. All right, here we go. This is what they want this time. Document requests. 1, all communications with or concerning the Norfolk DA's office or any employee, agent, attorney, or other representative of that office from July 1, 2025 to the present, right? Because remember, did we find out? Yes, we did find out, didn't we? That Michael Proctor was communicating with Adam Lally after the verdict on July 1st of 2025, right? When he was like, oh, I couldn't even listen to that a-hole's closing or something like that. So they want all communications with or concerning the DA's office. Adam Lally, Michael Marcy, anybody else who works at the DA's office, produce from the date of the verdict or the acquittal, July 1st, 2025, until now. Number 2, all documents received from the Norfolk DA's office or any employee, agent, attorney, or other representative of that office from July 1st, 2025 to the present. 3, all non-privileged documents and communications relating to the recent disclosure. Well, it says Brian Moynihan, but we know his name is Daniel Moynihan, unless he's got a brother named Brian that's also an attorney. Maybe I could be wrong, but it says Brian. Referenced in media reports about why you withdrew your appeal or your termination from the Massachusetts State Police. One such media report may be found here if you can't find it. And that's an NBC Boston article entitled Michael Proctor Mass Police Appeal Update. So those communications were contained in the entire phone dump of Michael Proctor. Turn it over. We want your whole phone extraction from you because we know you have it. So just give it to us. We're entitled to it. All because the O'Keefes made the allegation that Karen made up a false narrative. You've been served. And here's the affidavit of service. Different guy served at this time who works for the same PI firm. His name's Tom Zoller. And he served him on October 22nd of 2025 at his last unusual abode at 2:34 p.m. Maybe he wasn't home that day. They call it nail and mail here in New York. We call it nail and mail, but you usually have to make a couple of attempts at service before you can nail and mail. But it says, I delivered a true copy of the subpoena to Michael Proctor. I guess it doesn't really say if he served him in hand. But we know he got it because he called up asking for an extension and said, I don't have an attorney. So we know he got it. I mean, the fact that he got it wasn't at issue, right? I don't know. Does no attorney in the entire state of Massachusetts want to represent Michael Proctor? Tom Kokonowski, would you represent Michael Proctor if he paid you enough? Rosemary Scapiccio. Oh, she can't because she clearly has a conflict because Michael Proctor is the lead investigator in so many of Rosemary Scapiccio's cases, right? Nobody wants to touch him. Says Tisbury MV, and somebody else says he has no money. He's going to need to represent himself because somebody's going to need to represent him. Thanks, James, for gifting 5 memberships. You're awesome. Thank you, Sassy Desk Diaries, for your super sticker. Welcome, new member Jessica Gates. Thank you, Mary Ellen, for being here for 2 months, watching since trial 1. I love the passion and snark. Thank you. Thank you so much. You have to be passionate about what you do. Otherwise, why are you doing it, right? I'm going to show you something. I mean, I really don't want to, but I really have to. All right, hold on. Thank you, Gigi, for gifting a membership. I love you so much. And Kat Randall, I love you. Even your cat, I love. Thank you, Kat Randall. Look at that cat picture. So adorbs. Karen says, decisions, Cyber Monday, Christmas shopping, listen to Mel, or going to sleep. Dang it, Mel wins. You could do it all. You could do it all. You could watch me on your TV. You could shop on your laptop, and I could put you to sleep. I'll allow it. I'll put you to sleep. Thank you for your super chat. Josh says, Moynihan is why you never actually trust a union or a union attorney. They only represent you for the case they are representing you for. Moynihan was representing him on a wrongful termination case. Right. So true. So true. I mean, I don't know if that means you can't trust him, but I mean, Moynihan didn't say that he was going to represent him in that. You mean Proctor shouldn't have trusted him? Or you mean the attorneys, Karen's attorneys should not have trusted him that he was asking for an extension? I'm not sure which, but either way, Moynihan's been doing it for a long time. You know who else has been doing it for a really long time? Representing cops and termination proceedings and other proceedings. You know what other judge has been doing that? The judge in Kelsey Fitzsimmons' case. You know, we know because he told us during the last hearing that he's been doing it for, I don't know, he said he did something like over 1,000 interviews with police officers. What's that? Drexler. That's his name. Judge Drexler, the one who's Kelsey's new judge. Thanks, Mary Ellen, for gifting. Laura, thank you, Laura, for your 5. What are the odds that the public will see any of these documents? If we do, I'll be following along with you, Melanie, because you're the best. Well, you know what happens? These documents always seem to find their way out. They always find their way out, don't they? What are the odds? I'd say the odds are pretty good. I don't know if I would take that bet. I'd say the odds are pretty good. Thanks, Laura. I mean, they're also FOIA-able. FOIA-able. Under the public records law in Massachusetts, a lot of this stuff is discoverable. How do we know? Because Corey Hopkins has gotten a ton of it. Thousands of pages. Gigi, thanks for your 5. Says, why did they put 2022 for the Boston PD instead of 2021? I hope they catch that. Because the date on the Boston PD was, I believe, anything from John O'Keefe's death to the present. And for the other stuff, they wanted to go back 1 year from the date of the murder. So I'm pretty sure that, I mean, it looked, aside from the one typo that I caught where they they referred to Daniel Moynihan as Brian Moynihan. I think it was proofread pretty well. Generation X chick, has there been a Proctor sighting lately? Don't know anything about that. I haven't seen him. Have you? Thanks, Rosemary, for becoming a member. Josh says Moynihan was a union attorney. He was charged with protecting the union. His case spiraled so much the union cut him loose. Not bashing Moynihan. Yeah, no, I didn't think so. But I was like, you mean that Proctor shouldn't have trusted him? I mean, listen, you always have to trust your lawyer, right? But he's I think he's a good lawyer. He's good at what he does. I really didn't watch those termination hearings. We were going to start covering them, and then all of a sudden he withdrew his appeal. Crazy. Thanks, Tisbury, for becoming a member. What a treat this is. Thank you, Jenny Lulu, and for being here for 11 months. You're awesome. Glamasu says maybe Proctor will reach out to you, Nettie. He can't. I mean, it's a clear and total conflict, but there are a lot of other defense attorneys in Massachusetts that he could reach out to. I don't know if he can afford them. I don't know if he can afford them. You can't get a public defender in a civil case. No, you sure can't. Weird Debbie says, I can't help but laugh when I hear Proctor's name. Thank you for being here for 7 months. Oh yeah, somebody said he was spotted at his kid's hockey game recently. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like, look, he's got little kids. I think we should leave his kids out of it. I don't know who took that picture. I don't know. I heard about that too, but I wouldn't. What else? Thank you very much too. We got some more exciting stuff here. Don't go anywhere. To Elaine for your $100 Venmo. You're super, super generous. How the hell I missed the start? I have no idea, but I'm starting now. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your family. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Elaine. You're always a very kind and generous contributor to the channel. And Elizabeth, thank you for your Venmo. And she says, can Michael Proctor be an attorney like criminal defense? No. You do not have the constitutional right to an attorney in civil court. Only if you're a criminal defendant, if you're indigent. And then Elizabeth asks, could he turn over his total phone extraction to provide all the requested info without an attorney? Yes, he could. Yes. Love your channel. Thank you for what you do. Thank you very much. Elizabeth Grace in chat. Yes. And but he probably won't, because now he's being sued by Karen Reed. So he needs to find one attorney that's going to represent him in all of this stuff. And any attorney would be like, don't turn over anything until I look at it with a fine-tooth comb. Fine-tooth comb. And also, I want to be there with you for your deposition. So he's going to have to find one attorney to represent him in everything. And apparently, according to the papers, he did find one attorney who then said, after he was sued, and then it was removed federal court. Yeah, no, about that. No, I'm not going to represent you for that. I'm not going to represent you for that. No, thank you. Thanks, but no. And I don't know who would want to get involved in this mess unless they're charging hell a lot of money, but I don't know that he can afford that. Moving forward. I have notes on all of the things I wanted to tell you about. I think there was some more stuff here in the Billy Bush interview, so let's go back to that for a moment, shall we? Many of you might not have seen it. I think, just let me get to the Okay, I'm going to pick it right up where we left off because there's only a couple more minutes of it that I wanted to play. So hold on. I'll link the full video of Billy Bush's in the show notes so that you can go back and watch the full interview if you would like to. Here we go.
And so this is going to be an entirely different type of case that's going to give us the ability to answer some of these questions that Alan couldn't answer in the criminal case, and we look forward to it.
And what about the dog? I mean, back to Chloe. Have we found Chloe? Is there any way, even if we did find Chloe, would we be able to look at her claws and say, yeah, these are do we have the technology that says those claws made those marks?
I know, Billy.
It's junk science. It's junk science. Even Adam Lally said it was junk science. That's why they pulled their rebuttal case and they did not have that guy testify about the molds that he took of Chloe. And they sent Yuri Buchanan to Vermont to apparently find Chloe. And then it was like blank in the police report of where he went. It was, I can't wait for the sidebars to come out so that we can find out what was discussed at sidebar regarding that trip to find Chloe. Thank you. Thank you. STRTGK. I wish you guys could change your names back because I don't know who you are, but I love you and I love you too. Thank you for your $50 super chat. You're so generous. You're so generous. But let's see what Mr. Waters says about that.
I don't know where Chloe is right now. We may find Chloe, we may not find Chloe. I don't know. But in raising Chloe, I think you identified some of the real problems and some of the challenges we're going to face with this case. And that is the Massachusetts State Police attacked Karen and focused their entire investigation on Karen. They never went into the house and tried to take, for example, saliva tracings from Chloe. They never did any investigation on Chloe or trying to match the clear dog bites and scratches on the arm of John O'Keefe to Chloe. They ignored that. And so I understand that the family moved Chloe away and that Chloe is somewhere out of state, but somewhere. And, the real disappointment to Karen, and ultimately it should be for everybody in the community, including the O'Keefe family, is that the state police didn't investigate everybody in that house that they should have. And so while there's this entire investigation, which we think was as alleged, a fraudulent, malicious prosecution, we don't have, on the other hand, an investigation of everybody in the house. And so there is inevitably going to be evidence that we can't recreate, that we can no longer get. We're going to try.
I don't see Colin Albert's name on the list of people we're going after. How does he seems to me like a suspicious young man, to say the least. Is he part of it just because, the way they're threatening, the Twidiots are all threatening lawsuits against everybody for defamation. Are they going to sue Billy Bush too? Young man, to say the least. Is he part of it just because, could he be part of it, or he just didn't get a name check?
Well, Billy, I'm required as a matter of professional ethics to stick with what's been alleged. And I can tell you that Colin Albert's name is referenced in the complaint, but I'm going to leave it up to the complaint to make any points about Colin Albert. Separately from that, if we pursue discovery and we take depositions or we get documents, and anybody, it could be Colin Albert, it could be anybody else, if their name comes up and we have reason to believe that there are allegations that should be made by other parties, you can bet we're going to make them. Okay, we're talking to Chaz Waters here, who's Karen Reed's lead attorney here for her case, her suit, which makes accusations of gross misconduct for 3.5 years by the Massachusetts State Police and calls out these 8 defendants. It was gross. Gross. That's right. So all of them, all the names, all the stars of the show, Michael Proctor, Nicole and Brian Albert, Brian Tully, Sergeant BUKHEKIK, Brian Higgins, the McCabes, the legendary Jen McCabe. Oh my God, she's got so much notoriety now through all this. So, the O'Keefes, back to kind of where we began, the O'Keefes have their civil trial against Karen, which is like a total wah, wah, wah. The criminal case is over. This thing is just, seems like it's taking everybody's time. You guys tried to dovetail them in. Tell us how you really feel, Billy. Tell us how you really feel. Together, right? Your civil going in the affirmative and then the civil that you have to defend again. Is there any progress on those two maybe just becoming one event? Yes, I don't think there was progress, but I think it's possible. In fact, the hearing today did raise that issue. And Billy, I could give you a little background because I raised it at the hearing today. When we originally came into this case, and we did that over this past summer, we analyzed and assessed the wrongful death claims against Karen. We analyzed and assessed the affirmative claims that Karen has against these parties that you've just named. And what we thought at the time made the most sense, and which Damon Seligson set forth at the first hearing in September, is that it makes sense that all of these parties and all these claims all come into one action. We take discovery together. We try one case together. And there's a lot of very detailed practical reasons for that I think all make sense. And so as we told the court we filed a motion, we served a motion on all the parties, including on the proposed new parties, including the Alberts, including the McCabes, the state police, the town of Canton, and we got oppositions back. And the process in Massachusetts is such that you don't file the motion right away, but you serve the motion, you get the oppositions in response, and then you take the oppositions and the motion and you file it all at once. But there's a nick in that rule that says if when you get the oppositions that you want to withdraw the motion because that makes the most sense after you flesh this issue out, then you can withdraw the motion. So once we got the oppositions here in this case, we were persuaded. We were persuaded that adding all of the parties in one action, at least at the beginning, may be more cumbersome than.
There you have it. That's why we never saw the motion, because the motion was withdrawn. We only saw the response to the motion from the House defendants. And so we did it backwards because we never saw the motion because the motion was never filed because they withdrew the motion because he's saying once we got the response, we were like, oh, okay, they're going to fight us. It sounds like he's saying they thought they had a good defense to it. So he's like, all right, we just withdrew the motion and then we went and filed our lawsuit against them directly in Bristol County. And then that is the one that the 5 House defendants removed to federal court, which is now. So now the federal court has jurisdiction over that until it's decided. The state court can't do anything on that case until a federal judge decides whether or not they are going to retain jurisdiction in federal court.
And then helpful. And so what we did is we told the parties, we're not going to file this motion. Instead, we're going to file a separate action. And that really has to do with the fact that all these new parties have raised the concept that they have potential pre-discovery motions to file and or other procedural maneuvers to make, and all of which would happen before discovery. And so it occurred to us that it made more sense that those motions and whatever procedural maneuver has to happen in one action, and that we continue with the wrongful death case separate, so it doesn't get slowed down, separate, but that after we vet the claims and the parties in this separate action, which we filed in Bristol County just this week, which is the complaint that you talked about at the opening here, Billy. Once we get all the parties and the claims settled, that we consolidate everything, at least before trial. Because trying this case multiple times makes no sense to anybody. And if there's one thing we can agree on.
And this interview was done before the notice of removal to federal court. I can't read your username. Nits, Knots, Novelties. Will a jury award the damage number? Yes. If it gets to a jury, it will. A jury would award any damages in a case such as like this.
It's not much here. I think everybody can agree on there should be one trial here. The notion that we multiple trials with the prospect of multiple different verdicts depending on which trial, I don't think is satisfactory to anybody.
So in your suit that you have filed, you're alleging that also that an altercation took place, and inside you'll also that they concocted a plan once inside to drag John O'Keefe out into the snow and then just immediately decided to pin this on Karen. We all instinctively in our bones kind of believe that, but plausible narrative does not win cases. Is there evidence? Did you find stuff inside this house that led to you to believe that something happened in there, that the altercation happened in there, and that they dragged him out after that?
Two things, Billy. First, as I told you, discovery hasn't started yet. Although technically it started.
You want to know?
We haven't taken depositions yet. We haven't gotten substantive documents yet. There will be a request to inspect the house. I can tell you that.
Alan, you've been in the house.
I have.
You've been in the garage. I've seen the video of you in there.
I have. Yeah.
So,
well, to dovetail on what Chaz was just saying,
come back to your screen if you haven't seen
Harkin
this and you want to see Alan. I'll go back to full screen for him. I had to enlarge it because I couldn't, because Chaz is sitting too far away from the camera.
Back to the criminal trial. What evidence did we propound, did we prove to the satisfaction of 12 independent thinkers that established sort of what the lay of the land was that night, what happened that night? Well, just think about, as you're putting this together in your head, in your mind, there's three things that I want you to think about first. The injuries. Oh, yeah, and the injuries.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Oh, I feel so validated. Who has been screaming about the injuries since day one on this case? Me. Thank you. Thank you for validating me. Smooth as butter, Alan Jackson.
The injury to the back of the head, the laceration to the right eye, which we established at the criminal case was consistent with a physical altercation. The laceration to the nose, which was consistent with a physical altercation. The injury to the back of the head, which is, as Chaz said, which was medically consistent with hitting a ridge or a ledged surface.
Of which there is in the garage.
The fact that the garage has about a 4-inch ridge or ledged surface inside the garage. You step down from it to get into the garage, right from that door, right at the...
Ding, 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 ding. Remember the garage photos that they tried to get in at trial number 2? Remember the garage photos? They had a private investigator up on the stand. He's the guy who took the photos. The new owner of 34 Fairview, who did not know that they were buying a murder house, by the way. They're not happy about it either, because grief tourists and murder tour folk are driving by and creeping up on their lawn constantly, including that woman whose name is not allowed mentioned on this channel, who, allegedly was once with the FBI, who has been defaming me on Twitter for years because of this case, creeped right on up there, like in a little Pink Panther way, even though there was like 2 cars in the driveway, to take some photos and then run away with her cape on. Ridiculous. But Alan Jackson got in the house. They let him in the house. Unlike those other people who released that ring video of that other woman that I was just talking about. And they put the private investigator on the stand and they tried to get those photos in of the garage to show that there was a step in the garage that had a ridge surface. Because remember, there was also a pattern wound on the back of his head above the gash. And those photos were not allowed in. Can't wait for the sidebars. Do that again.
Consistent with hitting a ridge or a ledged surface.
Of which there is in the garage.
The fact that the garage has about a 4-inch ridge or ledged surface inside the garage. You step down from it to get into the garage, right from that door, right at the same general location where John O'Keefe was last seen going into the house or going into the structure. So those things also... talking about hearkening back to the criminal case, what was proven at that criminal case about John O'Keefe and where he was through the better part of the evening, what I call the shank of the evening or the early morning hour.
The shank of the evening. We had fun with that. We had so much fun with that. Somebody did a video. Maybe it was Next Witness. All the law tubers' reactions to shank of the evening. Nobody knew what it meant. We're like, what is the shank of the evening? Now I got to start using that in my daily. On the daily, I'm going to start using it in the shank of the evening.
The medical evidence was uncontroverted that he did not have hypothermia. He did not suffer hypothermia. The only way that he didn't have hypothermia is if he was someplace warmer. What's warmer? Well, I don't know, maybe a structure, a house, a garage, something like that. So it doesn't take much if you just hearken back to the evidence that was propounded and proven.
Such a good word. To
be true by 12 independent thinkers, by a jury of Miss Reed's peers, of Karen's peers. What was true? What's the circumstantial evidence? What story is laid out by that circumstantial evidence? Well, that's mirrored in no small part by the masterwork that was, in fact, Chaz and his team's complaint.
And let's not forget, Chaz, I'm sure we're going to be hearing the legendary phrase once again, Haas Long, to die in cold. I assume that we'll be hearing that again. Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Billy, again, I can only imagine how frustrating it was for Alan not to be able to depose some of these witnesses relating to that piece of evidence, and be forced to have it all just play out at trial. And we've got the luxury in the civil case to be able to really dig into that issue, and trust me, we intend to.
Does the location of John O'Keefe's body point to a concocted plan more than anything? The fact that it was on the edge of the lawn, like all the way down by the flagpole, and just enough off the, off the curb and the road where that it might be plausible that he was hit and flew a little bit of a distance. It seems like, and also not really in view of Maine, except the plow driver at night who has giant floodlights. A regular car might miss it. All those pieces, sort of the location of the body says, might lead to concoction. Yeah.
Well, the complaint alleges that once he was assaulted and hit his head, that at some point in the night they took his body outside and created framed a crime scene outside. Now, to me, Billy, the most compelling evidence that this was a set up, framed crime scene outside is the snowplow driver, Mr. Leckren. He came by around 2:30 in the night, and with his lights did not see a body in that spot.
Lucky.
But he did see something at 3:30. He saw a car parked there. And according to him, it was very unusual to have a car parked there, because the Alberts knew about the snow emergency, and they don't park the car out there, period, let alone in a snow emergency. So he found that to be odd.
And nobody looked for the Ford Edge, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Sugarbush Farms, honey, sweetie baby, you're in the wrong chat. But good on you for having the tenacity to hang in there for a full 48-hour subscription before you came in here and started, spewing your hold on. Congratulations on the tenacity, jackhole. All right. So there's that. Then there's something else that I want to show you. I don't know if I can suffer through this again. But I'm here for you, and I'm going to take one for the team tonight. And a couple of people sent this to me, and these biatches, all four of them, have been trolling me on the cesspool of Twitter since I became involved in this case, and now they've got a channel. Now they've got a channel. And not only do they have a channel, but I'd be surprised if their combined IQ among all four of them is 227. And they're probably watching tonight. And you got to see this. You got to see this because I just can't make it up. So you're going to have to see this. How many of you, you know what I'm going to do, Paul? Because many of you do not wait on the cesspool of Twitter. And these four are a large part of the reason why I no longer play on the cesspool of Twitter, because I just don't have time for it. I'm an adult, and I don't spend my time going out there and just trying to say mean things about people that I don't even know because they believe that John O'Keefe was hit by a car. I wouldn't do that. But they decided to do that to me. So I want to take a little poll here. Hold on. And the poll is going to be, do you engage on the cesspool of Twitter? Okay. And all right, do you engage on X? Yes or no? And that just means, do you engage? Do you talk to people? Do you watch not even just watch what's happening? Do you engage? Because last time I did this poll, 80% of my audience said no, that they do not. And so I'm curious again to see, because if you're not on there, you wouldn't know the shitstorm that goes on over there on the daily and how much I have been through personally, professionally, defamed. My family's been doxxed. They've gone after my kids. Yeah, it's bad. And so I just was like, I don't need this. I'm an adult. Okay. I'm a grown woman. These four are among the worst of the worst. They don't even go by their real names. One of them is Jennifer McCabe's self-proclaimed best friend. One of them, I'm just going to play and let it speak. I'm going to play it and let it speak for itself. Okay. They are now going to be like the House defendants platform for them to come on. And they say that they're actually going to even be interviewing Kerry Roberts and Chris Albert, that he's going to get them, that they're going to get them on their channel. And oh, wow. I don't want to give them any more views. The only thing I'm going to do is put it on so we can all watch it together. Okay. Because it is so mind numbing that we need to do this. We're taking one for the team. Okay. This woman goes by Tuesday Gazette on the cesspool of Twitter. And then she's going to be joined by Carrie Lama, who is Jennifer McCabe's self-proclaimed best friend. And then there's another woman called Jams, and Julie Carpenter, or as Jimmy Auntie Debbie used to call her, Good Time Jewel Carp. Here's their attempt at a live stream. And let's see what they say. Their mission statement their mission statement's gonna be. Okay.
Julie. Let me text her.
She doesn't even like introduce herself at all.
Are we live now? Hi. We are live. Oh, hi.
The blonde, this is Tuesday Gazette. This is to the right, I don't know, somebody called Jams or something. This is Kerry Lama, who is a pediatric nurse who is also the best friend of Jennifer McCabe. I think she's the one who had the pool party that they invited Lindsay to. And let me tell you something, I bet that Lindsay has got everything. Everything, Lindsay, call me. I wonder if these people ever put the order out to come after me. Okay? Because if you go into each one of their Twitter accounts and just search the name Melanie, you'll see how many tweets come up about me. And that's not even including the tweets that they didn't name me in, that they just clipped my content in to talk about what a liar I am. Yeah, so they're going to get one view, and I'm not even going to play the whole thing because it's painful.
Put the new link in yet. Did you?
What?
Oh,
What?
really?
What are we doing?
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean the new link?
Like the new link to, wasn't there a new link we had to give everybody?
Yeah. Oh, well, everyone's here.
Are there people
And we're
here?
live. Chris
Oh,
Watts,
look.
along with her 2 daughters and her unborn baby. This is not, and it's been extremely.
She then actually goes on to compare the Karen Reed case to the Shannon Watts case. That's how horrible people have been. I don't think that anybody went after John O'Keefe, the decedent. Okay, Shannon Watts was the decedent in that case, and the people were saying horrific things about her. She was murdered by Chris Watts, as was her 2 daughters and unborn child. Okay, and these are the women that they now want speaking for them. But at least maybe somebody bought a green screen. I don't know what the hell this is. Is this behind Julie Carpenter right here, lower left? Is that supposed to be a picture of David Yannetti behind her? And then what is going on here with Karen? And why do they keep touching their face? Why do they have their hands all over their face? And this one, she's got a picture of Alan Jackson behind her. And then this one, okay, girls, go on with your bad selves because you're in my playground now. Let's go. Let's go. You want to go? Let's go.
Was wiretapped. As if.
Hold on. I think I don't even know where I like, it was so hard to
get. Pushed misleading and defamatory.
Oh, yes, this is right. This is right. Where she said that the YouTubers got paid. The YouTubers got paid
and
to spin a narrative.
Kind in the comments. I'm still waiting on Julie.
Be kind in the comments because you've been so kind to me
so,
and my people.
All right. So
hold on.
We've got things to talk about, everyone. As many of you know, especially those on Twitter, over the past few years, there's been a conspiracy pushing PR campaign for Karen Reed.
Oh, a PR campaign.
And her team has utilized unethical tactics to control a public narrative.
Oh.
And I don't say this loosely. The supporting evidence is all there.
And she's reading from a script. I'm sorry, girl, you can't riff. You can't get out here and riff. You can't do improv for 30 seconds. Step away from the helium tank.
Several journalists have made it public knowledge that not only was the defense team whining and dining journalists, as well as incentivizing YouTubers who were pushing the
incentivizing YouTubers, really. I would like to get my incentive check. Sis, where's my incentive check? Is somebody going to send me a check? Somebody going to send me a check for being incentivized for believing that John O'Keefe was not hit by a car because, you know, science and medicine and 30 years experience handling car accident cases and dog bite cases. She's being held hostage. Who wrote the script? And don't tell me not to play this, okay? Because these women have relentlessly disparaged me and defamed me on Twitter for 2 years, coming up on 2 years, okay? Don't tell me what to do.
Conspiracy narrative with seats in the courtroom,
Yeah.
photo ops with the murder defendant mid-trial, and even
They were incentivized to get photo ops with Karen Reed? Really? Who wrote this for you?
a dinner event to applaud
Oh, yeah, wait.
with the murder defendant mid-trial, and even a dinner event to applaud their efforts.
A dinner event to applaud our efforts? No. The dinner event was a private fundraiser for the family and friends of Karen Reed that we were invited to, not to get a free dinner, so that money could be raised for her defense, because she's in $5 million in debt to her attorneys because of some bogus charges brought against her by a corrupt police organization.
They utilized platforms who would allow for PR puff piece articles like the 2-part long form articles in the Vanity Fair by Julie Miller.
Oh, so you're saying Julie Miller was bought? Are you saying Julie? I have to speed this up because it's such a snail's pace that even if I put it on 1.5, it sounds like normal speed. Oh, so Julie Miller got bought and paid for too? Okay, sis, go on.
You all know how I have ranted and raved about Vanity Fair articles. They not only omitted vital pieces of info in the case, but they've also pushed misleading and defamatory information regarding the Google search, among other things.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes Julie.
Hello.
We're handling Julie. We're live.
Hi. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yes, yes. And I already started kind of talking about everything.
Okay.
So as Karen and her allies painted Karen as the real victim, the witnesses were simultaneously being villainized and dehumanized. The home addresses of witnesses and their families were leaked.
They're being villainized and dehumanized? Go on.
Naked photos of the victim, John O'Keefe.
Naked photos of John O'Keefe were leaked? I'm sorry. Naked photos of him were leaked? I must have missed that. Julie's name is Julie Carpenter on Twitter.
His autopsy was leaked. Karen's cult following sent death threats to witnesses, gave money to a blogger who enjoys tormenting the witnesses so much that according to him, it, quote, makes him so hard when people get mad at him for it. It's all extremely vile, you guys. This is the same blogger, by the way. That
Wait, is you guys in the written script, or do you just keep saying you guys while you're reading the written script?
Karen's trial attorney, David Yannetti, praised as doing God's work. I'm going to play a quick little clip real quickly. Give me 1 second here.
Their addresses were leaked by the police documents. Thank you, Emily.
You know, I'll add it in a second. I'll add it. So there are also false rumors that the feds were coming any day now to arrest the witnesses for framing Karen Reed.
False rumors. I guess, you know what? Time's not up yet. Time's not up yet.
Those were pushed out into the public. One YouTuber, Sean on the Gulf, he admitted that Karen Reed told him that the DA's office was wiretapped, as if a murder defendant would even have that type of information. But she sold it to them. They were convinced the feds were coming any day.
You guys, I don't think anyone can hear us.
Can you guys hear us?
Unfortunately, we can hear you. Unfortunately, we can hear you. False rumors like John O'Keefe was hit by a car. How about that? There's no statute of limitations on murder. Well done. Well done, Snark Tank. Well done. I mean, I got to move forward so that you can hear who's going to come on their show and what their mission statement is. Let's go. This is what they're planning on doing. Okay.
And why we're here tonight, the social media sphere. Lauren Beatty.
Oh, here's what she talks about Shannon Watts. Hold on.
Corrupt government was behind the shooting let alone that they were executed in school and that the corrupt government.
Right, because, Alex Jones and, that, and then.
Accusations. Other victims of many other tragedies have also endured harassment. One that has come to mind is Shannon Watts, her parents. She was the mother who was murdered by Chris Watts, along with her 2 daughters and her unborn baby. This is not a new phenomenon, but it appears to be rapidly growing. The mob behavior in this modern true crime social media sphere.
Yeah, like you bitches coming after me. Somebody do the Lord's work. I had to speed it up because it was painfully slow. Somebody do the Lord's work and go on. If you're on Twitter, just look at any one of their accounts, search up the name Melanie, and you will see how many times they have tweeted about me since January of 2024 when I first started covering this case. They're going to change the whole. They're going to change the whole true crime media space. Who's grifting now, girls? Who's grifting now?
If we don't call it out and stand up for those who need a voice. So this leads me to what and why we're here tonight. We, a group of us, are planning on doing a weekly show on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern time on this YouTube channel. We're going to call the show the Thursday Night Show. What did we name it?
Truth Matters.
Truth Matters Thursdays. That's right. Thank you, Julie. And then we're going to attempt doing something on the weekends as kind of a unscripted, Truth Matters unscripted. And that's going to be more of just a casual chat. It'll probably be last minute planning, but for sure our Thursday nights are set in stone. And then we'll keep you guys posted on the weekends. And what we're actually planning on doing is not only bringing clarity to a lot of the misinformation that has gone out there. We are an open book here about the case. We are going to make sure every stone is unturned. We are.
We're going to make sure every stone is unturned. They're not going to turn over any stones. They're going to make sure every stone is unturned. I mean, geez. Get your metaphors right. We will leave no stone unturned. But that's not what you said. You said, hold on.
A lot of the misinformation that has gone out there. We are an open book here about the case. We are going to make sure every stone is unturned.
We're going to make sure every stone is unturned. We're not going to turn over any of them. How about the stone on the McAlbert lawn? You know, that one that was left there for the jurors when they went to visit the lawn?
We are going to expose the dirty behaviors that we have seen happen. And we're going to share with you the impacts that these have had on actual people.
Who's going to expose you? Who's going to expose you and your dirty behavior? And who was behind your dirty behavior?
We are going to do question and answers. We are going to bring it all, you guys, because unlike Karen, who says sunshine is the best disinfectant, we actually bring the real light here. She's bringing an artificial light, one that casts a lot of shadows and allows a lot of details to get hidden. And we're not going to do that because there's nothing to hide. The witnesses welcome being deposed in court, and this is all going to be hit head on. So
the witnesses welcome being deposed in court. First of all, who did Saint Jennifer McCabe anoint you to be the spokespeople of the witnesses that are so dying to be deposed? Really? I can't wait.
So with that said, I haven't actually shared the biggest fun part of our surprise.
Fun.
I am going to actually pass on to Carrie to share with us what the fun news is.
Hold on. Wait.
Guys.
Let's get rid of the full screen. This is Carrie Lama.
Like Tuesday
She's
said,
Jennifer McCabe's self-proclaimed best friend, and she's also a pediatric nurse. And she's I'm not saying anything that she doesn't want everyone to know because she put that all over Twitter. And she was also in the M. Michael Phelps podcast as a spokesperson for Jennifer McCabe. And so I'll go over that after I'll tell you what she said on that podcast, or maybe we'll even listen. We can't listen to it because it's horrific, but I can pull it up on Spotify and read to you what she said. Here's the big surprise, everyone. Are you ready for it? The big reveal.
I have a lot to talk about. And honestly, the most exciting announcement that we have is is what we need to share, what I'm going to share with you guys right now. So for months, y'all have heard one side of the story dominating the conversation. And the people who were actually dragged into this mess, the people who lived it, haven't had the opportunity to speak for themselves. That's about to change. We're thrilled to announce that in our upcoming episodes, we'll be joined by some truly special guests, some who haven't been able to share.
Oh, wait, I'm going to make you suffer through the torture of putting this back on regular speed. Hold on. Because, you know, you need to hear every syllable.
People who lived it, y'all have heard one side of the story dominating the conversation. And the people who were actually dragged into this mess, the people who lived it, haven't had the opportunity to speak for themselves. That's about to change.
Oh, yes.
We're thrilled to announce that in our upcoming episodes, we'll be joined by some truly special guests, some who haven't been able to share their perspectives publicly. Carrie Roberts will be joining us. Chris Albert will be joining us.
Chris Albert will be joining you. Let's get some real work done. Get Chris Albert on the show. Did he pay his Discover bill yet? Oh, we can't wait.
Kane will be joining us. John Jackson will be joining us. A lot more of John's friends will be joining us, and even more guests, special guests are lined up that we can't wait to introduce to you. I think the most important thing to remember with all these, the witnesses, John's friends, John's family, these are real people, not the characters they've been turned into online or the villains they've actually been turned into online. And our goal is just to give them a fair place to talk, to decompress, and to correct the record if they want to, and to finally be seen as human beings. And we're so grateful that they trust all of us to do that, because this is a really big deal for them.
Oh, yeah, they really trust you. They
on.
trust you for it to tell their stories. They do. What are your credentials, ladies? I don't know who any of you are. We know that Julie Carpenter is a housewife from Indiana. We know that this one is Jennifer McCabe's best friend. Her name's Carrie Lama. She's a pediatric nurse. I don't know who this Jams person is, but she seems to love to trash me on Twitter. And this is a person named Tuesday Gazette, who I don't know, is she a journalist or is she just somebody on Twitter? I don't know. Does anybody know? Does anybody have any credentials here? They trust you to tell their story. Why? Why you, ladies? Why you?
And finally be seen.
Mean Girls is their credentials.
So,
yep.
That was our big announcement. We're really excited for that. And now I think Julie's gonna maybe catch us up to date.
I'll talk about, did we do the donation stuff too?
Oh yeah.
Donations,
and for the donations,
of course.
they know I'm gonna get this wrong. But I think what we're gonna do is, instead of
donate
letting
everyone.
YouTube, you know, I think they take a part of the money, you know, with the super chats and all that sort of stuff. So we would.
Yeah, but you know what's so funny? You're not demonetized, a-hole. You're not demonetized because you're on this Tuesday Gazette channel. She's got like 489 subscribers. So guess what? You can't get super chats. Oh, but we don't want to let YouTube take the money. You're not going to ever get monetized. Okay. Good luck with that.
Would rather that you guys go and donate to the Witnesses Fund for their legal representation. The link's right on the bottom.
You will never get monetized. That's what I meant.
If you come back and let us know, or put your YouTube name and you have a question, we'll read out the question during the show.
You're not monetized.
Right, guys?
You have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000
and
watch hours. This girl has like 9 videos on her channel. Good luck.
Oh, we clearly have no idea what we're doing right now. I know someone.
No shit.
Someone said we're in the wrong video mode. I don't even know what that means. Short form live.
Oh, really?
I don't even know what that means.
This is so embarrassing.
Well, I think it shows that we are rookies in this, and we are not out there for attention-seeking purposes. This is something that...
Why else would you be going like this with your hair constantly and going like this and like this? And like, you're not out here looking for fame and YouTube fame? Oh, right. You're going to choose to do this? Guess what you say? This is what they say about me when people, stick up for me, when they disparage me. They say, well, she asked for it. She's on YouTube. Bitches, you better want what you wish for.
We've almost had to drag our feet on because we want to show our support and we want to do things, but none of us are really out there trying to become big YouTubers or anything. But you know what? It's necessary. And so have grace for us while we learn to use the things we need to use to be able to bring this community.
Do they have a combined IQ of 227? I can't do it anymore. I'm sorry. I can't do it anymore. I'm sorry. And I usually am not a petty stream person, and I usually don't do this, but these women have consistently trolled me on Twitter. Consistently. Like they have no life, zero life. And now they're going to add to their zero life by coming on YouTube and letting Chris Albert and Carrie Roberts come on too. Bring it. Bring it. I can't wait. I wonder if Carrie Roberts' attorney is going to tell her that's not a great idea. What do you think? Anyone? They sound like Valley Girls. Exactly what I was thinking. Like, oh my God. Like, no way. Like, oh my God. Wow. The defamation laws in New York are real strict, especially per se defamation against people that are like attorneys when you try and attack them for their credibility. Cause that's like attorneys' credibility is like important, like, right? Like, like, so like if you're on Twitter all the time saying that Melanie Little is a grifting, lying fraudster, that's like, I don't know, like could be like, I don't know, maybe like per se defamation in New York if I cared enough to come after you. Like, oh my God, but like you don't even use your real name. So like, who would even waste their time? Doing the Lord's work. Oh, but wait, I'm not finished because there's more. Hang on. So that M. William Phelps podcast, episode 7. I can play a little bit for you. Okay. On episode, remember that podcast that guy M. William Phelps did? It was called like 34 Fairview Road. Oh, I even have it queued up. Okay. And apparently he was like in like contract with Turtle Boy, right? This was wild too, because Turtle Boy's agent or manager or whatever set him up with this guy, M. William Phelps. And it was supposed to be like a pro Turtle Boy kind of podcast. But then at some point, it just like turned. It turned on Turtle Boy and William Phelps did like a whole bunch of episodes, and I suffered through it for you guys also too, because I'm here to help. Yeah, so I don't even want to. I have to turn that off. It's just like such bad vibes. So he couldn't, I guess, get any real guests to come on his podcast because like the McCabes and the Alberts, like apparently they have a contract with Netflix, or something like that, and like their deal was with Netflix, so like they have an exclusive, I think, and so. M. William Phelps was like relegated to talking to people like that woman, Carrie Lama. And at 8 minutes and 20 seconds of this podcast, it is episode 7, 8 minutes and 20 seconds. All right. It's got some really, really cheesy music. It's got some really cheesy music with it. So I'm just going to play it like through the microphone because if I play the cheesy music, it might be copywritten. But it said the sentence right before this said Karen accused Colin Albert of beating John to the Massachusetts State Police as she was being booked. Hang on, I just got to change my audio settings so that you're actually able to hear this. Okay, just let me know that you can hear this.
Massachusetts State Police as she was being booked. The other main target, as you have heard throughout this podcast, is mother of 4, wife, and former school teacher, Jennifer McCabe.
Jennifer McCabe was a school teacher? I did not know that. Jennifer McCabe was a school teacher? That is frightening.
I spoke to a very close friend of the McCabes and Alberts, a woman who was also viciously attacked on social media for voicing her opinion. Her name is Carrie Lama, and she has known these families for over a decade.
She's known these families for over a decade. Wait a second. The McCabes and the Alberts? Okay, go on.
Sees and talks to them regularly.
She does.
The McCabes and Alberts, because of certain commitment restraints and legal reasons, chose not to speak to me, which is why Carrie felt the need.
Commitment restraints, like they already have a deal with Netflix, I think. Is that like the one also that Kate Peters going to be on? Oh my gosh, I can't wait for that release. That's going to be, I mean, the ratings are going to be like through the roof on that one. Okay, listen.
The McCabes and Alberts, because of certain commitment restraints and legal reasons, chose not to speak to me, which is why Carrie felt the need to speak on their behalf.
Carrie felt the need to speak on their behalf. That woman who was in the lower right quadrant of that mess, that Michigas that we just watched, she felt the need to speak on behalf of Jennifer McCabe. Listen, keep in mind also, she's a nurse. Listen to what she says.
What she has to say about Jennifer McCabe puts into perspective just how real this all is for those simply speaking their truth.
Their truth.
She is, I would say, the strongest one out of everyone, and I feel like that she has to be. All of the children in this, you know, the McCabes have 4 girls. The Alberts have 5 children.
Why are you outing their children right now? Wait, it gets better. But wait, there's more.
They are being relentlessly harassed and stalked as well. Constant emails to their schools, their colleges, comments on social media, pictures of them put on social media. A number of the kids have had mental health struggles. Some of them have had to go in inpatient programs. Some of them have had to go to outpatient programs to mental health facilities.
I'm sorry.
Hello. Hello. Hello, I'm here.
You're a nurse? And you just said that some of the children have had mental health issues and have had to go to outpatient programs and inpatient programs to mental health facilities. The Albert and the McCabe children. You're a nurse, and you just released their private health information to M. William Phelps, podcaster of 34 Fairview, crossing the line with M. William Phelps in episode 7 at, I don't know what the timestamp was, something like 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Are you kidding me? How did St. Jen McCabe feel about that outing of the children's mental health issues? It's disgusting. And he left it in there. He left it in there. And then she goes on to tell a story about Matt McCabe, how Matt McCabe is the kindest man in the world because one day she was there in their kitchen and he was making coffee and he ran outside with the coffee. And he said that every week he makes coffee for the garbage man and has coffee with the garbage man. Did you hear that part? I don't care. I'm not even talking about whether it's a violation of HIPAA, whether she's their treating provider or not. I'm just thinking maybe as a nurse, you might know better not to share someone's children's confidential mental health treatment plan or the fact that it even happened. How did Jennifer McCabe feel about that? And is this the same woman, this Carrie Lama mama, who had the pool party where she invited all those people to her house, including Lindsay Gattani? Lindsay, call me. Girl, you got to tell your story. I will let you tell it right here. Come, tell us everything. Tell us everything. Tell us how they used you.
They've all been destroyed by this. So she's had to put her mama bear hat on and pretty much take care of everybody. Her sister, Nicole, Brian Albert's wife, another wonderful person. She has been destroyed by this.
Oh, and I could see Nicole being destroyed by this. Nicole on the sand. Well, I can see that Nicole has been destroyed by this.
So she's had to, and I don't think it's an act. When I see her, she has had to be the mama bear.
And what about Brian Albert? Do you know much about him?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know much about him before this, just as, you know, being Matt's brother-in-law. But I did know a little bit about him because I had followed the Craigslist killer story way back in the day.
I don't even know the story of the Craigslist killer, but apparently Brian Albert caught the Craigslist. So she now makes herself sound like a big fangirl of Brian Albert. So is it all coming together for you now?
I remember that he's the one who took down the Craigslist killer. And I had read, I had like deep dived into that. So I knew his name from that. And I knew his name from being one of the cops that was at the boat when the marathon bomber was apprehended. I've gotten to know a little bit about him. He was a veteran. He was on the front lines in the Iraq War. Stellar career. Coached youth sports as well. They all did. All of the witnesses, coached youth sports.
All of the witnesses coached youth sports. I'm sorry, does that make them any better than anybody else, any more credible than anybody else? You know who else coached a lot of youth sports? Not for nothing, but pedos. A lot of pedos coach youth sports too. A lot of the biggest child abusers in the world were coaches and priests. So I don't know, you calling everybody a coach doesn't really make me feel all warm and fuzzy.
Just stellar career that now has just been destroyed because of this.
And okay, so what else about Jennifer McCabe and Matt McCabe and this whole thing? Anything you want to share?
I think one of the ways that completely describes Jen and Matt McCabe is just how normal they are, but also
they're so normal,
ridiculously kind they are.
They're so ridiculously kind. They didn't sick any of their minions like you on anybody like me. I'm sure of it. Lindsay, call me.
Jen and McCabe's house recently, and Jen and I were just having coffee and talking one morning. And I see Matt out of the corner of my eye running around the kitchen, making coffee, putting 2 coffees in mugs. I have no idea what he's doing. I'm kind of watching him, but Jen's talking. And he runs out the door. And I said to Jen, what is he doing? And she said, oh, every week he makes coffee for the trash man. And they talk outside for 15 minutes and, have their coffee together. And I remember, I don't know why, but that hit me so hard. And I got like a little teary because this is the man.
I'm getting teary just listening to it.
And the woman that, the world has been misled to believe are stone cold murderers.
Yeah. Nobody has been misled to believe that they are stone cold murderers because I don't think anyone has ever accused Jennifer McCabe of murdering John O'Keefe, have they? I know I certainly haven't. I have not ever accused Jennifer McCabe of murdering John O'Keefe or Matt McCabe, either one of them. I've never accused anyone of murdering John O'Keefe. What I have consistently said throughout is that John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. A car did not hit John O'Keefe. And so therefore, something else happened to him. Something else happened to him. And somebody knows something about something. And if Jennifer McCabe's phone, maybe it wasn't even Jennifer McCabe using her phone, but if somebody took Jennifer McCabe's phone and Googled something like Haas long to die in cold at 2:27 a.m., maybe that could give us a clue as to what actually happened. And maybe if a goddamn investigation was done with regard to the murder of a Boston police officer, maybe, just maybe, we might know what happened. But instead, we are left with complete and total. Maybe the trash man knew something. Maybe the trash man saw something. I don't know. Did anybody suffer through that entire podcast? Because I think I don't think I listened to the whole entire thing. I think I did that one episode just for you guys. I took one for the team, and that was it. That was it. Yeah, he's good friends with the garbage man because, they're just like regular people. Thank you on top for your super sticker. Ms. Holmes, thank you for your super chat, but I'm not going to read that out loud. And Barbara said, if Chloe's alive, I bet she's thriving in a normal home. We covered this one about the jury, and then Craftastical put this in there, and that reminded me that I already had this queued up. She said, have you heard or seen the new YouTube channel that are supporting the McAlberts yet? Oh my, I had a quick look, and it's awful. They have no clue. Unprofessional and are reporting fake stories. Well, I didn't watch the whole thing. I really literally just watched the parts that I showed you, and that was it. I have no tolerance for that. Veronique says, can the House defendant and O'Keefe lawyers work together for strategy? They can. It's clear that they are. I mean, it's clear that they are because in my opinion, I said this from the beginning too. The first time we went over that O'Keefe versus Reed lawsuit, they filed it in August of 2024. That was after the mistrial, but before the second trial. And they still had until January 22nd of 2025 to file it. They still had months left on the statute of limitations. And I said, it's going to be a big mistake for this plaintiff's lawyer not to sue everyone at the house and let the jury sort it out. If you want to sue Karen Reed, fine, sue Karen Reed, but sue everyone else who was in 34 Fairview that night and Proctor and BUKHEKIK, sue all of them. Because in my opinion, a proper investigation was not done into the murder of your son and brother. And therefore, as an attorney, if you don't want to get sued, you better sue all the right people. Here's the problem, okay? The statute of limitations for them is now over. And so the O'Keefes can no longer sue Proctor, BUKHEKIK, McCabe's and Albert's and Brian Higgins, okay? That ship has sailed. The statute has run out. That window has slammed shut. And so if and when the case against Karen Reed is dismissed, the O'Keefes could turn around and sue their lawyer for saying, why didn't you tell us to sue everyone? Big mistake, in my opinion. Thanks, Jazzy. I love you back. Thanks for being here for 16 months. Laura says, Billy beats Bev and eyeglass twirling, wink, wink. Good one. Gigi says, Plato has a higher IQ than all those idiots. That was Gigi. Jay-Z says, OMG, watching them hurts my brain. I know. I couldn't stand it anymore either. Thanks for being here for 8 months. Deanne says, get it, Melody. This is your sandbox. Yeah, it is. This is my sandbox. You want to play? Thank you for your time. Freshness, Amy says, I love everything you do. Thank you for being here for 10 months. It's not easy, apparently by being on YouTube, that it just allows people to, just attack you relentlessly. Better want what you wish for, girlies. I'm not even on Twitter. Unturned Stones for Brains. Thank you for being here for 13 months. WTD E9F. You guys can go back and change your usernames. You know that, right? I think you just go into settings and there's a way to do it. Maybe somebody could tell you how to do it. Richie Rich says, will they bring the receipts to their evidences? Right. I can't wait. Chris Albert is going to go on the show with them. Really? Excellent. Can't wait to hear all about how intimidated he is by Turtle Boy. Oh, does Turtle Boy scares you, Chris Albert? Chris Albert, why did you decide to run for the town select board after the murder of John O'Keefe? Why did you decide to all of a sudden run for the Canton Town Select Board? Because, when you're on the Canton Town Select Board, they're like the boss of the Canton PD, right? So that makes him like the boss of his brother, Kevin, who works for Canton PD. So incestuous, right? Did you feel like you needed to have somebody in public office to protect your family? I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Do you think they're going to ask any of the hard questions of Chris Albert and Carrie Roberts? Why did you lie to a federal grand jury? Did anybody promise you anything? Did anybody threaten you? I mean, why would you lie to a federal grand jury and say that you heard Karen Reed tell Jennifer McCabe to Google Hosslong to dying cold when you really didn't hear that? Why would you outright lie after you swore to tell the truth? Why would you? Who are you protecting? Was it just a false memory? Did you think nobody would ever find out? Is anyone going to ask the hard questions? Carrie Roberts, was John O'Keefe the one who got away? Were you jealous of Karen? Why were you texting him all the time, Jennifer McCabe? Is Jennifer McCabe going to come on your show? Girls? I mean, she's been relentlessly harassed. Let her tell her story. Get her on out there. On top says 68 combined IQ, 3 years late for the grift train. Well, I mean, they say they're not going to grift. In fact, they don't even want YouTube to take a portion of the super chats that they're not even monetized to get. Dawn became a member. Welcome, Dawn. And Sue says, this is like the Hindenburg, Melanie, love you with all my heart for this. 227 is a high estimate of their alleged IQ. Oh, I can't wait. Thanks, Suze. And Charles Argo from South Africa, he can see it from there. House defendants, remember, anything you say on social media will be brought up in trial. Oh, yes, it will. Oh, yes, it will. But, you know, we were incentivized, apparently, for a free dinner. Yeah, I traveled all the way to Fall River for a free dinner in my own car and all, you know, paid for my own hotel for a free dinner. That's what I did because I was so incentivized. Thank you so much, Charles, for tuning in all the way from South Africa and for your super chat. And Lucy says, if the McAlberts are truly innocent, tell me why they aren't the most pissed off at the terrible investigation. Right. Right. Thanks, Lucy. She can see it from Canada. And Charles says, thus, channel for 12 years. Thank you. Again, from South Africa, Charles. And Noel says, as soon as they throw the term their truth instead of the truth, right, I'm out. The gaslighting around this case is so next level, as well as lacking IQ. They're also lacking the basics in science and stuff. Yeah. Thank you for your super chat. And not a House defendant says, do regular people lie to the FBI asking for a friend? No, I mean, listen, the FBI coming around is like no big deal, right? It's like when the ice cream man used to come around your block when you were a kid. That's really all it is, right? That's what I heard anyway. I heard it's like no big whoop. I mean, it happens all the time and can't end. Oh, something else I was going to read to you from the Holy Bible of Howie Carr, which is over there. But hold on just one moment while I go get it for you. And happy Walsh Eve to those who celebrate, says Olive and Mags. I think we all need a break from the real drama. Thank you for covering. Yeah, I'm never going to talk about these people again. Tonight was the one and only time. And I will never talk about it again. I just had to get it out. Ohio Palm Mom says, not to sound dumb, what's to keep them from lying during depositions? Well, they're supposed to, got to swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth. I suppose they could lie. I mean, some of them might have lied on the stand even, right? I mean, maybe some people might think that they lied on the stand. I don't know. But I wonder if in their list of civil lawsuits, if, you know, they're going to like sue Howie Carr and stuff too. I don't know. Because his book is awesome. I'm going to go get it to show it to you. So hold on for 1 second. I'll be right back. I just got it. It's right over there. Okay. This is Howie Carr's book. It's called Mass Corruption. And look who's on the cover. I mean, Jennifer McCabe even made the cover. She made the cover. Wait, did she make the cover? No, there's Karen Brian Higgins, Michael Proctor, Yuri, Brian Albert, Hank Brennan, and the judge. Jennifer McCabe did not make the cover. She's probably really pissed about that. But anyway, if you turn to chapter, well, it's not a chapter. It is just a chapter. I've even highlighted the pertinent portions. It is called Jen McCabe, quote, honestly. Okay. And this is on page 147 of Howie's book, which you can buy, I think, on his website. I'm going to just read to you for a moment. I need some light. Where's my light? And this is dated May 29th of 2024. Nothing is to stop them from lying during depositions. Ohio Palm Mom, that's your answer. Jen McCabe, honestly. May 29th, 2024. Canton, Massachusetts is the butt dial capital of the world. That's my first takeaway from the testimony yesterday in the Karen Reed murder case. Another takeaway is the more often you say honestly, or to be honest, the more likely it is that you're not honest. That is, it was not a good day for honest Jen McCabe, the dentally challenged witness who faced the traditional grueling cross-examination from defense attorney Alan Jackson. Jen, among others, is trying to railroad Karen Reed into prison for allegedly running over her Boston cop boyfriend, her Boston cop boyfriend. And so honest Jen somberly informed Jackson early in her testimony that after the body was found, she distinctly heard Karen Reed say, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Honest Jen McCabe not only recalls hearing those chilling words, but she added, quote, I can tell you today with 100% clarity that she said it. Which leads to another trial takeaway. If you remember any horrible statement with 100% clarity, perhaps it would behoove you to have mentioned it at least once during the first 12 times you were asked by cops and other assorted first responders what Karen Reed said on the morning of January 29th of 2022. After McCabe repeated Karen Reed's 3 alleged questions, Attorney Jackson handed her the 223-page record of her state, as opposed to federal, grand jury testimony. On page 190, she quoted Reed as asking her, did I hit him? On page 192, can I have hit him? On page 193, could I have hit him? On page 202, what if I hit him? And could I have hit him? On page 208, did I hit him? Could I have hit him? Jackson asked her if Karen Reed had perhaps said it to a Canton cop. Maybe, she answered. And what was that cop's name? Sadly, she couldn't recall. Maybe it was a female EMT, she suggested. But no, that wasn't what she said to the female EMT either. The butt dials came up at the very end of the half day. Apparently, she was calling the late John O'Keefe's phone immediately after he disappeared. She did so 6 times. 6 times in 19 minutes. The phone was in my pocket, she added. She said, glancing over at the jury, a tell for honest Jen, the way when Biden says, not a joke, or I'm not kidding, you know he's pulling another Grandpa Simpson. Butt dialing seems to be quite the problem in what the townies call Canton. And he spelled it C-A-N-U-H-N. Earlier, it was brought out that shortly after Jennifer McCabe's 6 butt dials, 2 of the other McAlberts had been butt dialing one another while they were asleep. That was their testimony anyway, under oath. Those are male McAlberts, as the townies are called. One had his phone on the nightstand when it mysteriously butt dialed, and the other one had in his bed. Oh, had his in the bed while he was servicing his middle-aged wife after a full day of epic drinking. This is so good. You guys got to read this book. It's like a quick read, and it's so good. And it's so Howie Carr snark that it's amazing. When it comes to mysterious failings in the new technology, the town of Canton is sort of a Bermuda Triangle, it seems. In addition to the epidemic of butt dialing, otherwise indisputable data about, say, GPS and phone call completions are notoriously inaccurate. As one tweeter put it yesterday, Canton, where data lie, but Jen McCabe doesn't. Is there GPS data that contradicts the whereabouts of your daughter, whom you have just testified under oath was at home at 12:30 when the data says she was cruising Canton at an hour later at 1:30 a.m.? Surely some mistake, Jen McCabe testified. Or Jen McCabe testily testified. Canton, where texts randomly delete themselves over and over again, but it's just a coincidence. A lot of coincidence here, Jackson observed at one point. When they aren't butt dialing, the McAlberts are wildly deleting records of texts and cell phone calls, or not. Early yesterday, Jen McCabe testified, I didn't delete any phone calls. A few minutes later, that statement evolved into, I don't recall deleting any phone calls. When you're engaged in a conspiracy, everybody must stick to their same story. This is RICO 101. You must all hang together, or assuredly, you will all hang separately. Truer today in Canton than when Ben Franklin said it in Philadelphia in 1776. One of the leading characters is the tawdry in this tawdry tale is another Canton clown, Trooper Michael Proctor, currently under investigation by the Internal Affairs Unit. Jackson read from one of his reports, and she huffed that she didn't say that. Jackson asked, did he get it wrong? You'd have to ask Proctor Trooper, she said. Not Trooper Proctor, but Proctor Trooper. I will, Jackson said. Okay, we've learned a lot about Canton in these last few days. They get hammered all the time with their kids, no less, night after night. And then when they're loaded at a local dive bar called the Waterfall, the men grab each other's asses. Grab asses, one witness described it, or he said derrieres. The puzzled defense lawyer asked, they grab each other's asses? It's a figure of speech, Jennifer McCabe's husband elaborated. Figure of speech, like butt dials. The cross-examination of honest Jen McCabe resumes this morning. One obvious question for all these Canton witnesses is, were you lying then or are you lying now? But we all know what today's testimony will boil down to. Ms. McCabe, what did you mean when asked the question, apparently at 2:27 a.m.? Haas long to die in cold. I know, she must have butt dialed it. It's a Canton thing. Get your copy of Howie Carr's Mass Corruption. This is only volume 1. It's going to be a couple of volumes because this story writes itself, my friends. It writes itself. It's a tush call. Thank you, Redacted. 8377 says, I flew in today from California to Foxborough for work. My Google Maps is blowing my mind of all the towns I've heard about through Karen Reed's trial. I'm 15 minutes away from Canton. I didn't go. Don't go. Don't go there. Don't go there. Don't go. Thank you for your 10. Lucy says, it's inconsistencies in the lies that'll get him. Praise be, my friends. Praise be. Under her eye, this is like living in a real life episode of The Handmaid's Tale. All right. Betsy, thank you so very much for your memo. She says, God, I love all you do, especially with the Twitty-8s. Oh. That reminds me, I have to end the poll. If you have not voted in the poll, please do so now before I break, because tomorrow is an early wake up because we got to get ready for the Brian Walsh trial. We're going to be tuning in at 8:45 to start the shenanigans at 9. And guess what? Trooper Proctor is going to be called by the defense. And guess who else is going to be testifying for the Commonwealth? Yuri BUKHEKIK, John Fanning, Connor Keefe, and so many of your favorites. And boy, is it going to be great. And also, I think Brian Walsh is going to have to testify, so you're going to want to tune into that. So get your last minute votes in. The poll was, do you engage on X? 81% of you, there's 3,200 votes. 81% say no and 19% say yes. So only 19% of you even know what I'm actually talking about. You're lucky. And if you're not on there, I just don't do it. Just don't do it unless you want to go see the shenanigans and how they attack me after what I said about them tonight. Because, payback's a bitch and so am I. Love you guys. Thank you, moderators, because I know it's never easy to do this in here, ever. But, let's see what Mr. T has to say. That's a good one, right? A lot of jibber jabber on that new podcast. I mean, podcast. I can't even call it a podcast. I don't know what it is. All right. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, moderators. I love you so much. I love you so much. Landman tonight. Don't forget. When I hit end on this, it's going to teleport you to the morning stream for the Brian Walsh trial. So you can hit the reminder and come back in the morning to start the trial with me. We're going gavel to gavel. Tomorrow we're starting at 8:45. It's going to be in Norfolk Superior in front of Judge Frenier. You're not going to want to miss it. You're going to want to watch it with me every single day because we have so much fun when we do trials together. And I love you guys with all of my heart. And if I don't see you soon, I'm going to die. But I am going to see you soon because I'm going to see you in the morning. So buckle your seatbelts. Do all the things that YouTube likes. Hit the like button, share the stream out, do all that good stuff, and catch up on the streams that you haven't been able to watch this weekend because there was a really funny one. Wasn't that one funny when I read Cosgrove's affidavit in the adopted voice of Ken Mello? Like, you guys, we can't make this up. We just can't. I'll see you in the morning. Buckle up, buttercups, because it's going to be good. Peace out. See you in the morning.